I didn't know that, because I can do that. I was like, that time was going to do. Mama used to have something.
Call this meeting to order. Thank you all for joining us this evening. The date is April 10th, 2025. It is approximately 6:03. If you would please, Madam Clerk, if you'd do a roll call.
Commissioner Lisa DeVito.
Present.
Commissioner William Laurie.
Present.
Commissioner Linda Moore.
Present.
Commissioner Cynthia Burton.
Here.
Interim City Manager Christina Marie.
Here.
Attorney Donald Holmes.
Here.
Captain Ussery from the Putnam County Sheriff's Office.
Here.
And Lieutenant Depew, Sean. And we have Mayor Myers.
Present. Thank you.
I'm here to announce.
Steve, we've got Steve Conklin.
Already hiding.
He's hiding over there.
Steve Conklin, Finance Director. Hi, Steve.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And with that, I'm going to ask Commissioner Moore if you would please lead us into an invocation. Stand if you're able.
Let's bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, once again, we want to thank you for allowing us to wake up this morning to a brand new day, one we've never seen before, we'll never see again. We do ask that you be with us today, and we ask that you bless this meeting on tonight. Help us do those things that are pleasing your sight. Help us to agree and disagree in unity and love, that we may get the honor and praise from you. And Lord, we ask you to look upon every family member, those that are sick and shut in. God bless and heal. In the name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. We have a few announcements. We've got a lot going on. Starting this Saturday, we've got the Crescent City Women's Club is going to be hosting breakfast with the Easter Bunny. Crescent City Women's Club is doing that at Saturday, April 12th at 8:30. The doors open. I believe there is a small charge for breakfast, but that's always a fun time. They're having also this Saturday, our downtown partnership is having a movie in the park at Eagle Lion Park, and they are playing Hop. I don't know if any of you've ever seen that, but it is a really fun movie. Bring your popcorn, bring your chair, bring your blanket, bring whatever you want. Are they going to, we know if they're going to have refreshments?
Hot dogs, doing popcorn,
They're just doing popcorn.
drinks, and I can drink.
Okay, so don't bring your popcorn, buy your popcorn. And there will be drinks available, so, for family drinks. Just so there's no, yeah. And then also, we've got Bungo with the Women's Club. That's gonna be Wednesday, April 16th, from 1 to 3 p.m. It's $6 to play. And Bingo is Friday, April 18th. That's dinner and bingo with the doors opening at 5 p.m. Bingo starts at 5:45 p.m. Don't be late for your bingo. Crescent City Downtown Partnership, of course, is doing the Spring Fest. That is April 26th, and that's going to be at the corner of Summit and Central at our Market Square from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. They're going to have local vendors, live music. They have a petting zoo there from 10 to 1 p.m. And then the Fruitland Peninsula Historical Society, they're going to have their monthly meeting. They always meet at the Women's Club, the Crescent City Women's Club. That's April 17th, that's a Thursday at 4 p.m. Nicole Denham is a deep with Ghosts and Legends of St. Augustine. That should be a fun one. She will be the speaker that day. Also, April 26th at 11 a.m., the Fruitland Peninsula Historical Society and the Purple Plum Players are excited to announce the Turn of the Century Time Tour. I know they've been working on this. take a step back in time and meet several notable names in early 20th century Crescent City. This unique tour will be an interactive live history exhibit lasting approximately 30 minutes along Central Avenue. Find the portal to the past at the corner of Summit Street and Crescent and Central Avenue during the Spring Fest. We've also got Easter in the Park. South Putnam Church is going to be hosting that at Eagle Lion Park on Easter Sunday at 8:30 in the morning. And then we've got, this is really, if you're available on Saturday, this was brought to our attention, that Victory Worship Center and Zeta, Mu Zeta chapter, did I pronounce that correctly? Okay. Which Commissioner Moore is a proud member of, are excited to cordially invite us to the installation of the Little Free Diverse Library Book Exchange bookcase in our community. The Little Free Library is a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to increasing access to books for people of all ages and backgrounds. Through neighborhood book exchanges, individuals can share and discover new reading material, helping to foster a culture of reading, learning, and connection. This is the second installation from Putnam County, and it's an excellent opportunity to participate in this global movement with over 150,000 registered Little Free libraries in 115 countries. Millions of books are exchanged annually. This one is going to be Saturday, April 12th, also this coming Saturday at 1:30 p.m. at Victory Worship Center Youth Center, which is 1024 Huntington Road. And with that, does anybody else, Commissioner DeVito, you had something you wanted to add?
Well, actually, I did. There is a flyer at the post office. I don't see that it's in your stack, but I believe it says those flyers at the post office, it says Saturday, April 9th at Harry Banks Park, 2 p.m. I believe it's the Women's Civic Association is having a family-oriented children's event. And it said if you would like to donate something, contact someone at the Women's Civic Association. So if people want more information, the last I thought, there was a very nice flyer up at the post office.
Okay.
But I believe it would be Saturday, April 19th, right? And as I communicated with Sid Snyder about it, and she told me the name of the person to get in touch with, but they didn't give me permission to share that.
Also, the residents over in Randolph, just so everyone knows, over in the Randolph neighborhood, have approached us and they've asked us to help and assist with a cleanup. Right now, we're looking at dates. It could possibly be April 26th. It might even be 2 weeks after. I believe that's May 10th. But anyway, look for that. We'll make sure we put that out on the city website. We've got Waste Pro is going to bring in a container, and it's just for the residents to be able to spruce up their neighborhood for springtime, spring and summertime. Okay? And with that, if we have no other announcements, I'm going to go to our proclamation. I believe we have Mr. Josh. If you here, are you going to be representing, you're going to represent the Historical Society?
For historic preservation.
Surprise, Dan, you didn't have.
It's all about, but, you know.
Dan, that's what happens when you show up at the meetings. You just never know.
Commissioner Lori is actually.
Okay. So,
Good evening, Commission. As always, I'm delighted to be here,
good evening.
and thank you for calling me up. Now, what is it I'm doing?
We're going to be accepting the Historic Preservation Month proclamation.
I'm delighted to do so.
Okay.
Thank
This
you.
is always an exciting time in town, when our Historic Preservation Month kicks off and the Fruitland Peninsula Historical Society puts, the yard signs in that both Commissioner Lori and Rachel have worked so hard on through the years to identify, it's identifiers on homes that people can drive around. It's a really neat tour. It has a QR code you can zoom in on. A lot of work has been put into that. So we thank you both on behalf of the community for doing that for us. along with everyone else in the historical society that contributes. It's a big deal. And with that, I'm going to start the proclamation. The City of Crescent City Proclamation 2025-03, Historic Preservation Month. And whereas local historic preservation is an effective tool for revitalizing neighborhoods, fostering local pride, and maintaining community character while enhancing livability. And whereas historic preservation is relevant for communities across the nation, both urban and rural, and for Americans of all ages, all walks of life, and all ethnic backgrounds. And whereas it is important to celebrate the role of history in our lives and the contribution made by dedicated individuals in helping to preserve the tangible aspects of the heritage that has shaped us as a community. And whereas the Fruitland Peninsula Historical Society of Crescent City and other community groups are participating in Historic Preservation Month during May of 2025. And whereas the South Putnam community has embarked upon a new commitment to preservation, historic and archaeological surveys, the nomination of significant cultural resources to the local, state, and national register of historic places, the protection of traditional neighborhoods, the integration of historic elements with redevelopment, and the recognition, rehabilitation, and restoration of historic properties. Now therefore I, Michelle Myers, as Mayor of Crescent City, together with the members of the City Commission, do hereby proclaim May 2025 as Historic Preservation Month and call upon the residents of Crescent City to join their fellow citizens across the United States in recognizing the importance of preserving the history of communities and participating in this special observance. And witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the City of Crescent City, Florida to be affixed this 10th day of April, 2025. And so with that, Commissioner Lori and Mr. Dodge, if you want to speak to this, you both have been very involved in it.
Certainly. Thank you, Mayor. This is the 4th year that we've done this. It was something that we started in 2022 with the late Jim Stagey starting out to have this observance to kind of bring attention and awareness to the historic properties we have in town. We all know that they're there, we all appreciate them, but it is a lot of work to keep those buildings together. And so we've started this program with doing proclamations as well as doing the Displaced Matters project that you referred to earlier, which is been on Labor of Love. It's a lot of fun. And getting the website together so that you can go around and find out the history of all these buildings and see pictures of them when they're older and see how they've changed and how that happened. So it's great. And we appreciate the support of the city too. You guys put the banners for us, and it's nice to be able to work together and bring their attention to this. So.
Well, thank you, Beth.
And I also would like to point out the fine work of Commissioner DeVito. She's also on our committee. And this year she has arranged something very special with the tours involving the Purple Plum Players.
Okay, and that sounds like you want to talk about that, because I know it's Dr. Roseman has talked to me about it, and he's very excited about it.
Very excited.
He's thrilled. Well, it's the Turn of the Century Time Tour, which is going to be a 30-minute tour of 30 years at the turn of the century of the east side of Central Avenue. Is something really new. Last year, the Historic Society did 2 tours, one of all of Central Avenue, and we're going to do that again this year on the 16th, Friday the 16th. We'll be doing a tour of one section of our historic district on Saturday the 10th, but April the 26th, it's a unique tour with drama provided by the Purple Plum Playhouse. That's what they call themselves, turns out it's Purple Plum Playhouse. They have written a wonderful script that really brings history to life, and I encourage everyone who can make it to come. Children accompanied by adults are welcome. So that is the official kickoff of Preservation Month. And thank you, Mayor. And I think, could we ask those in the audience who are Historic Society members to raise their hand?
Yes, please raise your hand if you're, thank you.
right, and we.
Thank you for all you do. Thank you for all you do for this.
Thank you.
Good. I'm gonna, with that, this is, Christina Marie. This is your first signing as our interim city manager. If you would please sign your name to this. And I did not welcome you, but thank you for being here tonight.
And Mayor and Commissioners, the Fruitland Peninsula Historical Society is very proud to have this proclamation. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Y'all wanna have a picture? Let's get all the historical. Come on, everybody up. Let's do it. Come on. Come on. Great photo op. Come on. You got space? Some passing?
Oh, those were some good shoes, Liz.
Did you know?
There's Omar.
Both feet to the best, I get those chairs.
Oh, that's why I like them.
Some of those chairs aren't that.
We got everybody.
Yes.
Okay, you there, Commissioner? Okay.
2, 3. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Run away.
Thank you, everyone. Before we open it up to public comment, I do want to say, that this past weekend, thank you to our Rotary members. We've got quite several of them here. You raise your hand, if you're a Rotary member. Okay? I just want to thank you on behalf of the city, and the commission. It was an outstanding event. And I should have done that earlier. I had that in my notes and I just looked right over it. I apologize because it was the 43rd annual and the people that came out, it was amazing to me, those that were here for the very first time, that had heard about it from all over. If you've never watched that set up in progress, the amount of work and time that goes into it is incredible. And they do it for the students here in our community. And all of that money stays here with our students. It's for the scholarships that they're able to further their education. And I mean, I just give kudos to all of you. Commissioners, thank you all for being part of the parade. Mary Ann, the parade was outstanding. I still can't hear very well from this ear. As with the Shriners, they did an awesome job. But it was just a beautiful day. The weather was incredible. And I hope everyone is rested up and geared up for next year. But, you know, it takes volunteers, it takes a village, and they pull it together. And thank you all for what you do. And Captain Ussery, we just thank you for keeping everybody safe. It was a tremendous job, and we really do appreciate that. Yes.
Mayor, we would like to thank you as well. You were out there every day with Rotarians helping. I know that you do it just to help out, and it is a help. It makes a difference. And also the city employees and cleaning up the city and doing the yards, and cleaning up like the bank and stuff. I mean, everything. Places do look great. We put on our best clothes that day, and it's all thanks to the city as well, so.
Our city did, and I have to thank Christina and Melanie. They both worked with staff to make sure that the city sparkled, and it did sparkle. And they were there all day helping as well. And Cecil, bless his heart, he called me at 6 o'clock in the morning, and he left there with me, I think at 7 that night, and he never complained one time. He was a trooper. Anything they asked him to do, he did. And it's just a nice partnership, and we appreciate the Rotary allowing us, the Rotarians allowing us to be part of that. It's just a feel good for everybody. But thank you for everything that you did. And with that, I'm gonna open it up to public comments.
It's just an event I forgot, the Sunfish Regatta, out at Lake Stella on the 26th.
Sunfish Regatta. That's true, the yacht club is putting that on Lake Stella on the 26th. What time does it start, 9 o'clock, I believe? 11.
Breakfast from 8 to 10,
Okay,
captain's meeting at 10. The first start is at 11.
okay, there's a lot going on the 26th, and also prom night, so.
Yeah.
So is that at Dexter Beach?
No, it's at, Fort Bass.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's down the road.
Yes.
Okay.
Is Sid in? Oh, Sid. Sid, would you like to tell us about, Commissioner DeVito sharing with us,
On the 19th.
on the 19th
Park.
at Harry Banks Park?
Oh, the Easter egg hunt?
Is that the Easter, oh, is that the annual Easter egg hunt? Okay,
It's, from 2 to 6.
from 2 to 6?
2 to 6.
Okay. Thank you, Harry Banks Park, thank you. With that, I'm gonna now open up public comment. We have, Chandler Asbury. If you would come forward, please, and state your name and your address, if you will. Now, we've got the.
It's been a while since I've been here. Forgive me, it's been a while since I've actually spoken in front of anybody. But after this past weekend, about a week and a half ago, I don't know that any one person can help me on this, so that's why I'm coming to you as a commission. I do have some pictures I'd like to give you, maybe pass around here.
Sure.
So my issue, I'm in Chan Asbury, 310 South Prospect Street. I bought that house from my dad that I grew up in, actually, was born and raised in. But my issue is with the peacocks. You know, I don't have a problem with 10 of them, but 90 plus, you know, it creates I actually had a speech prepared and outlined, but there's not that many people here, so I'm not gonna be that dramatic.
Come on, Jan.
I'm not trying to win any
Corridor,
points.
corridor.
But seriously though, I have a semi-stressful job and which requires me to sleep at different times. And last weekend, I have a 2-year-old now, added to the family, and sleeping on the floor with him because he had a virus. He just had a fever, a high fever for like 3 days. And I can't afford the bulletproof glass in my house. So it's just imagine every hour, every 30 minutes hearing this. Now, I know that it's hard because I know that the community is, you know, there's an aesthetic value, there's an attraction by these peafowl. However, not every one of us lives in that section of town that has all these birds. You know, in addition to them robbing me and my family of sleep is digging the multiple holes in my yard where you're about to sprain your ankle if you go out at dark. They're roosting on top of the truck and my tonneau cover. Don't try waxing your vehicle because they're gonna get in a fight with it. So, you know, the poop's an issue, getting on new shoes. If you walk out in the yard at dark, they're eating my vegetables in my gardens. I have one that I've fenced in. Don't try growing peppers. And contrary to popular belief, I mean, I've been here for, you know, on and off for 51 years. And they weren't here originally, but Crescent City was still a cool place. I mean, I don't think you have to have 90. I think 10's plenty to actually be attractive. The only peacocks I saw growing up as a kid were out near Tiffany Circle north of town. There's maybe 2 or 3 of them. But I think you all know too that the Wildlife Commission lists them as an invasive species. You know, if you ever have any kind of outbreak of West Nile virus or the avian flu, I mean, they're gonna be some of the biggest carriers. So I'll just ask you to consider a plan to reduce the population, because at some point we have to do it anyway. So, thank you.
Thank you. I have to, that noise, we've had to sleep to do renovations. Due to renovations with the windows open, and, my husband has woken up who also gets up and works those crazy hours like you, and he said, some very not kind words at about 3 o'clock in the morning when those things are just, you feel like they're sitting in your living room. I don't know if we need to talk to Fish and Wildlife. I don't know as far as from an animal control, what they can do when there's that population, because they are right now and they're in, their season in full bloom, so.
They've also gone across the street now, I believe,
Yeah.
across 17, during that neighborhood. And every time I hear their call, it seems to be getting closer to North Prospect Street. And, and I really hope that they don't, quite frankly. But wasn't there a time when, we had somebody that wanted to, wasn't it the, Barberville wanted to,
Yeah, the
track
track
some,
stuff.
take some down there, maybe they're still interested.
So maybe we can have, we talk to FWC and see how we can do, what can be done, and with the neighbors. Yes. Well, Commissioner DeVito.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we need to schedule the whole issue of animal control, for a discussion, because quite frankly, the peacocks are over in my part of town also. I don't particularly mind them, but, I'm not able to plant a garden without fencing it because of stray dogs and stray cats that dig it up and also poop in it. We can't leave the garage door open 1 second when our back is turned, because there will be stray cats in there. People on my side of town have had to watch litters of feral kittens be born and be picked off by hawks and birds and disease, not to mention the stray dogs, so, and the barking dogs. So it seems like there's several quality of life issues that really do need to be addressed. And I understand if someone's concerned about the peacocks, but I'm also concerned about the stray cats and the dogs that are having a similar issue from the woods. So somehow.
Well, that's gonna be with the county, so that will be with the county, the other one's gonna be probably with FWC and
Yes.
as far as,
Right, and
and how we can handle that.
right, but also, I think there are people on South Prospect Street that might like to be able to weigh in on this, before, I mean, they know.
And we will,
quite a
we'll
bit
make
about it.
sure, we'll make sure that that happens, not.
I've also noticed, we have peacocks down, but there's quite a large number of turkeys now, down in that area as well. I don't know if you've seen
I
them.
think we have about 12.
Yeah, it's pretty big. So,
And occasionally we have wild pigs down there too, so it's just, we have our own little wildlife section on the South Prospect Street.
And I guess my point is that it's not just a matter of county animal control. There are things that we can do about the stray cat problem. I would like to hear an update about what's going on with the stay and neuter mobile unit that we contributed $5,000 to. So it seems to me we have some pending animal issues.
We might want to, Christina, if you would please reach out to Jenny, I believe that it should be up and running. I thought
it should be,
in the next 2 months or so.
yeah, they've had problems getting pieces and parts to put the whole unit together. I'm not sure where they got these parts, and I hope it's on the way.
Yeah.
All the parts are there, but that's what they were waiting for, so, but I would get in touch with them again.
We just asked her if she could give an update. Okay. Yes, sir. If, or is this regarding this issue?
Yes, Art. I'm on the board of ARC.
Okay.
So the update on the trailer is that the trailer itself is completed, but as Commissioner Burton just mentioned, we're waiting for equipment. And we're hoping in June that it will be able to implement it. So that's the update.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, with that, I'm gonna ask, Mr. Cromer, if you would please come forward.
Thank you, good evening.
Thank you, welcome.
Appreciate that. My name's Greg Cromer, I'm an aerial photographer. I've been on a quest of sorts to photograph every community in Florida from an airplane. It's kind of like playing Pokemon, but with an airplane and a camera. And I just wanted to show off the one that I took here. I'll show it to you all and then show it to everybody else. I always like to show these to council, see if there might be any interest in a copy for the walls here.
Nice.
Been doing this for now 18 years. The collection's up to about 5,000 places across 32 states.
Wow.
And I've never heard a council meeting talk about peacocks. This year, it's
Stick
been,
around,
it's
you'll learn
been,
a lot of things.
it's been chickens. Everybody with the price of eggs wanted to, get chickens. And I think the consensus is you can have the female, the hens, but you can't have the roosters.
Right, that's here too.
Thank you.
Yeah, very nice, you wanna turn it around and let the audience see?
Absolutely.
It's beautiful, thank you.
And I've got a bunch of cards I'll pass down to you. This one won't be added to the website, I just took this to you 2 weeks ago. So I shot about 75 places across Northeast Florida 2 weeks ago, but it adds to that collection. I've been adding on to it every year, and the purchases of them help fuel that. But I would appreciate your
Well,
consideration.
thank you, so you're out of Virginia, so welcome to Crescent City.
I'm from everywhere. Well, thank you, this is a beautiful,
Well,
beautiful
thank
part of the
you,
world.
that's.
What kind of flight do you use?
This particular flight, I flew out of Jacksonville Executive, and it was a Cessna 172. When I started the collection, my son and I would fly an old 46 Aranca Champ, stick and rudder, cloth and wood tail dragger, had the hand prop it.
Yeah.
But with a 13-gallon gas tank, it didn't go very far. So now I drive the little old Prius to the blue sky, take as many pictures as I can when the weather looks fabulous like it did here, and move on.
Beautiful, thank you.
Well, thank you. Oh, and the best compliment, you'll appreciate this, that I got the other day was, someone called me an aerial historian.
Amen.
Very nice, thank you.
Maybe if I can make a comment, there are actually, he mentioned aerial historian, and there are several iterations of aerial photographs of Crescent City over the years. I actually borrowed one from Cherie Register, but I need to get back to her. So, that one's more vibrant and colorful, but it is possible if we put them together to see how things have changed.
I love when the old ones go with the new ones. So
Yes.
That's what ties what I do in and just adds a greater dimension to it. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes, as we,
No.
we'll make sure that with Christine, you have this card.
Yeah.
Okay, so, thank you.
Thank you very
Awesome,
much.
thank you for doing that.
My pleasure.
We decided to do something here, but right now, Christina and Melanie decided that this shoot needed some sprucing up, and thanks to a local artist here, Green. These are her beautiful paintings, and boy, it does add a lot, doesn't it? So, thank you both for that vision and for making it happen, and also for Vera Green for her contribution to the city for us to use these for our enjoyment. With that, Ms. Gomez.
Liz Gomez, 19 Cedar Street. I wanted to talk to everybody, and before I talk to everybody, I want to say I love everybody. I love the town, I love all humans, but I have a tale to tell you. It is coming. Sir, I feel sorry for you. I'm going through the same thing. So Chuck from the lumberyard called me and he told me he had it with the noise. The customers were complaining. The dogs, one got loose and they, Lou, the cat that they had for 17 years, got murdered in front of the little attendant and he was in shock. They have a metal bar that they don't go out without the metal bar. I called the captain because I knew I was gonna get arrested. So I go to that home, I knock on the door, Somebody screams at me what I'm doing there. Next thing I know, the sheriff is at my door. I asked him, what are our rights? This man that is 70 years old is telling me he cannot take it. Mentally, he cannot take it. It's too much. He's trying to work at the lumberyard and that noise is going constantly. So I called Pam. Pam said animal control. The sheriff told me, talk to the neighbors. Captain told me, talk to the neighbors. Nothing was done. So I see the church open, and I understand that this is a rental that the church rents to these people. And like Jesus Christ, I went there and I overturned tables. And I said, I demand to see the pastor. Why are you creating this environment in this neighborhood when you know these people have 7 dogs in the back? Not only that, then I go to North Main Street and they are sequestered over there by the Mexican music. So I called the sheriff too. I said, I'm gonna go and talk to these people, and they tell me, don't go over there, they threaten to shoot the next person. I'm not gonna allow nobody to sequester me in my town. I'm gonna go by the law. The dogs are gone. We got together as a group and the dogs are gone. These are the same people that do our 4th of July celebration at Dexter Park. I am asking, when are we gonna have our workshop? Things can change. We can tell them this is not allowed here. You need to move somewhere else to hold your activities, because you should not be picking up their trash. If they are this disrespectful to the lumberyard and to you, they don't deserve to have any celebrations.
Thank you, Ms. Gomez. Thank you. This is an issue. I talked to the captain about this week, with some other issues with some animals. And unfortunately, we've got to reach out to Putnam County, because Putnam County Animal Control, the report I got back was that they're full up. And so I don't know, we can workshop this. We've workshopped it and workshopped it. We gotta find a solution. Yeah.
Okay, we've talked about this before, and that was my understanding, and I've addressed this with our code officer before, and I thought our code officer could issue citations for barking dogs, that I believe it's in our code. So I don't understand what has changed, that it has to be referred only to animal control.
I don't know if.
I mean, and what I hate is, and by the way, the tape that she played, that was clearly audible 2, 3, 4 blocks away in our yard. We heard that frequently. It bothers me that people can be sent in a loop. I mean, there should be one place to go and a way to get something done, because that went on for months. That's the concern. Nothing like that.
And there'll be somebody else that moves in and it'll go on again somewhere.
It's not just there.
We've been talking about animal control for quite some time, and I've been one that really, pushed trying to get animal control right here in the city. And the pushback from the commission has always been, well, it's animal control and it's Putnam County, they take care of animal control. And when you call animal control, first of all, if you get somebody to answer, you're lucky. But then again, you're not so lucky, because they pretty much tell you they're full. And so it's kind of a useless thing that we got going on here with animal control in Putnam County. And obviously the city, I've been pushing for a while, and I kind of let it go, because I hadn't heard too many complaints lately. But lately I'm hearing a lot of complaints again, and it always comes back around. Always, it kind of leaves, then comes back around. And I'm sure that the commission this time around will say, no, we can't do anything about it, call the, the county. So I guess we could have a workshop, and we can go around and around and around and chase our tails, on this subject, because that seems to be what we do. Or maybe it's time for the commissioners, the city commissioners to get serious about it and really come up with a plan. So that's about the way I'm gonna leave that.
Well, but that's what I mean, that's what I was saying, we workshopped it and we haven't gotten anywhere, but if we have our own animal control officer, what does he do? Where are they gonna take it to? If Putnam County's I mean, so these are some things that we have to,
That
that we have to figure out,
yes.
because right now, they're not gonna take it up in black, and I don't know if we're in a situation, we could set up a kennel. So, yes,
If I could, to be fair to all of us, we put quite a bit of time into this. And Commissioner Burton's preferred solution, which was to have our own animal control officer. Our prior city manager, Mr. Rudd, spent quite a bit of time and effort getting cost estimates. And the issue of the kennel, where they go, and then the issue of budgeting for a truck and an officer were quite a heavy lift for us with the funds that we thought we had at this time. I personally have identified some things that are not that costly. I mean, I would love for us to have our own animal control. And I think that it's worth another go-round to try to look at all the options, things that we can do that don't cost money. I think we need to do every little thing that we possibly can to chip away at this. And then we'll have to look at our budget. We don't know what our revenue picture is gonna be like next year, but I think it is worth looking at every single option. And we have tried very hard, but we cannot pull money out of thin air. We can't pull a kennel out of thin air.
and it is costly, I mean, yes, in a perfect world, having an animal control officer would be.
But there are other things.
There are other things that you can do, and.
So let's set it for a workshop, let's
Yeah.
workshop it, let's talk about it
and
again.
Let me get off it before I get kind of nasty. Okay?
Go ahead,
No, I don't want to.
no, nobody's asking you, yes, so let's
But
workshop
I
it.
could be, because I've been very disappointed with the whole thing, animal control here in Crescent City. So it's just.
I'm disappointed with the whole animal control in all of Putnam County.
Well, yeah, that too, but.
So, I mean, we're very limited, Commissioner Burton. I mean, if you want to get ugly, go ahead and get ugly. I mean, we'll listen to you.
Okay, Charles Rudd, no offense to Charles Rudd, very good manager. He was good at some things, and one thing that he was very good at is always getting the most expensive thing on the shelf. You know, when he put together some of his budgets for different things, it was always the best and the biggest. Our Christmas tree is a very good example of that. I think he kind of went overboard with pricing everything up. I brought in a budget that was realistic, I brought in something that could probably be handled, and Jeannie Oakwood and I worked on a pretty good solution, probably not, we were talking not just for Crescent City, but nobody really wanted to listen, and Charles Rudd did not want to listen to it and bring in all of South Putnam. We could do this as a South Putnam kind of project with everybody involved. And he said, no, that would be too much trouble. So it really kind of got sidewinded, basically, because I guess it was too much work. I don't know, but
Well,
there are solutions
would you be
in
willing-
South Putnam. If we involved all of South Putnam and came up with a South Putnam, animal control solution, that would probably be the way to do
Would
it.
you and Ms. Oakwood, be willing to hold the workshop and give a presentation? I haven't seen that, so.
I'll talk to Jenny
To
and see what we can do.
Okay, that would be, because this is becoming an issue. The concern I have is like Ms. Gomez and another resident who was gonna go on someone's property and remove animals. Then you get into a dangerous situation. And that was the biggest concern I have. We've got animal lovers, we all are animal lovers, and our heart goes out to them, but we also have to make sure our residents stay safe. And so that's.
Liz Gomez, 19 Cedar Street, and again, ma'am and commissioners, I feel sorry for the dogs. It's not the dogs, it's actually the owners of the dog that they think they run the neighborhood, and they're gonna do whatever they want to do. And right now, I am excited and nervous about what's gonna happen the 4th of July, because it's the same neighbors, I know them. I see them at these unofficial events at July at Dexter Park, our first bicentennial park in the whole state of Florida. It's the same people. So if they don't treat their dogs correctly with love and care, how are they gonna treat our park? So that's the workshop that I'm asking for, because we already took care of the dogs. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Evans. Thank you. Do we have any other public comments at this time? If you do, please come forward. If not, I'm gonna go ahead and close public comment. Thank you all for your input, we appreciate that. And with that, we have the presentation. We have got, Brent, I think you're here, Mark is not today,
No, ma'am.
correct? With Inspire Technologies.
Yes, ma'am. Ruben Batter with Inspire Technologies. Today we're proposing a cybersecurity training solution for the city in support of the House bill that was referenced at the last meeting. It's the HB 7055. Initially, I believe that the city opted to go with kind of what was provided by the state, which was maybe a once or twice a year training that was offered for free. And the issue with that is that, let's say everyone goes to the training and you hire a new employee, they have to be trained within 30 days, but that training is only offered once or maybe twice a year. So this solution that we've presented to you today would be an ongoing training exercise where anytime you have a new staff member that's hired for the city, they're immediately enrolled within the training and they would have to complete it within the allotted time frame. And it would constantly run throughout the year, so it would handle any new employees that are hired, and the quote, I believe, is included as well. And I'm happy to field any questions about that that you may have.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Moore, I believe you have gone through the cyber security training program, leadership program.
Yes, I've done one of them, that FIU provides, but actually through the same program, the state legislature, when they passed House Bill 755, actually put forth $50 million to help get the goals accomplished. And one of those, that money goes to the Florida Digital Service, which is part of the state. And then through that, they hire and fund programs of the universities. And so there is one program that the University of South Florida does that is online, takes 4 hours to do, that is available for free. And people can do that at any time. It takes 4 hours, they can do it at their own time, they can stop, they can go, whatever they need to do. How long does your program?
Ours is about a 15-minute quick little class and then a short quiz at the end. And also what's included with this is ongoing cyber security assessments, knowledge assessments too, so.
Okay. It doesn't really explain in here what the quote for $29.25, $3,000 for a 15-minute class. I don't know.
Yeah, I can explain a little bit more of the other side of that, absolutely. It is a bit sensitive though, because of the knowledge of its existence can affect the outcome of the results that you get. So I'm happy to talk about that one-on-one, but it isn't just the training that you get. There is some extra stuff in there.
So Mayor,
So-
I had some questions
Okay,
myself.
I'm not sure if Commissioner Moore is done, are you done?
Go ahead, I mean,
Okay, Commissioner DeVito?
Sorry, I wasn't sure we were on with this. So my questions I sent out to our interim city manager before the meeting, and thank you for giving us a quote. Number one, this is in the nature of a presentation, and it's very helpful, because I think this new cybersecurity law is pretty new to all of us, except maybe Commissioner Ward. Seems very familiar, which is great. But if this is a proposed purchase, aren't we required, I mean, it's not on the agenda as an approval item. So were we thinking that we would say yay or nay on this today?
Well, I don't know that I think right now he was gonna give us a presentation, he was asked to give us a presentation, so we decided.
Okay, that's just what I wanted to clarify,
Maybe
because
Don
quote here.
decided to accept his proposal.
Again, it's on the agenda as a report and an estimate. So I guess my question is, did you put it out for bid, or what is the, I don't know what the
He's our
estimate is?
he's our contracted IT, they're our contracted IT company, and so we asked them to come back with a cybersecurity requirement.
Okay.
So that's why he's bringing this back to us.
So he has a continuing contract
Yes,
to provide your services,
Yes, sir,
both material and expertise?
yes.
Right, and
This
then,
is in addition to his regular contractual obligations, is that sure? As far as this stuff.
So this is just one piece of what you already offer us as far as maintaining our.
Correct, and there are more items that we have to offer, and I don't mean this and that you only have this as one option. This is just the option that we're most familiar with, it's the one that we always use. But if there's a different option that you guys would like me to look into, I'm happy to do that. I entirely am here on your behalf and to be your advocate for the best thing that you would want. It's just, this is the application that we are most familiar with, and we know, it checks all the boxes for us.
So is there an emergency at hand that would require them to go ahead and take action tonight on it? If so, you could make a motion to have it declared an emergency item and move forward to discuss the purchase of the service or the equipment. If it's not an emergency, then I would suggest that you agenda it for a purchase.
It's not an emergency, except that we are not in compliance with state law.
How much actual, and I know that in this arena, this question is almost impossible to answer, but how vulnerable are they without some additional cybersecurity measures right now?
I mean, this is entirely one of the baseline reasons that they put this in the bill, because knowledge is a very big deal when it comes to knowing who's at your door and who to let in and who not. That's the biggest advocate we have in making sure that you're safe, is so that you know what to look for specifically in your email. Because as we always say in our neck of the woods, vampire can't hurt you unless you invite them inside. So, we really try to make sure that knowledge is spread as well as possible. That's your biggest asset. And that's one of the biggest things in this bill is training and spreading of that knowledge and validation that you've done so.
So let me ask you a question. When I was going through this, it's a little contradictory, because it says in here that currently state agencies must provide cybersecurity training to their employees, report cybersecurity incidents, and adopt cybersecurity standards. However, there is no such requirement for local government. But then it goes down, bill requires state agency and local government employees to undergo certain cybersecurity training within 30 days of employment and annually thereafter. So.
Correct. So every year you have to do the training, and then once you're hired, you have 30 days in which to complete this training.
Is that all employees?
Yes, ma'am.
That's even our public works
Government,
employees
all government
That
employees.
have access to the computers.
That would, yes.
that have access to the
So
computer?
if they use a computer at all.
It really is mostly effective for people that have access to email, because that's the tax service that we see. But yes, it's good for every employee.
You'll see also the stuff that I had Mel turn out. This is the one sheeter from FLC talking about the parts of it. Basically, there's 3 parts. There's the training part, there's the standards that we need to adopt, and then the reporting issue. Because what this bill has also done is it says that it is illegal in the state of Florida for any local government to pay ransomware demands.
That
And
comes
then,
down into.
yeah, and also we have to report any sort of incidents to the state command center and to the local sheriff's department at a certain point, and we have to do it promptly. But I mean, all of this it's all, works in concert. The training is definitely part of it. And like you said, it is important because most of the problems that you have would be from someone opening a piece of email and clicking on something that they should know better to not do. And that's part of one of the big things that's covered in the training. But the standards too we need to do, and then also we need to have a plan put together so that we do have reporting, steps. And I mean, that was one of the things that I was really hoping you'd come to us and be able to help us with. Because, I mean, I'm not a professional at this, I just did the training class. Plus, I'm not a full-time employee, I don't really have a lot of time to sit down and do all this. But I'm willing to, because there needs to be basically a binder together that's up on a shelf so that in the event there is a cybersecurity incident, but we have proper steps, who to contact, what to do, how to figure out. We also need, there's some other steps that need to be done, like figuring out our computer systems and what is backed up off-site and how often and what systems are connected to what systems. Because as they say, there's no way to know if you've gotten anything back or if you've lost anything if you don't know what you have. So I mean, our utility billing system is totally different than the rest of the systems, and we need to have all that kind of inventoried and to keep track of it.
So you're saying though that University of South Florida has a program that you can go on for 4 hours, that we can have our employees sit down and get their whatever type of certification that they need
Covers
from that, and that is a free service?
Yes.
That's a free service, okay. However,
Totally works as well.
we have to have a plan in place. And
Correct.
you're the ones that we rely on for that, so.
So if you need like an incident response plan, I can easily draft something up and then kind of, we can work together on making sure that it says what you want it to say. We have some of those that are kind of ready to go. If you don't have one and you need one, I'm happy to help provide that.
Okay, Mayor,
Yes,
I have a question.
okay.
Okay, and this is for our speaker here. So you work for a number of local governments, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So at this point, for the required plans that entities like our city is supposed to have, you don't have a standard off-the-shelf plan, you would have to do a custom plan for us.
Well, I do have, you mean like as far as incident response?
Whatever it is that it says we're supposed to have, I think, is it just incident response?
Yeah, I mean,
Commissioner Lori?
It also would be an inventory of our systems and that kind of thing.
So we run a constant inventory of your
They have, I
system.
was gonna say, you should have our inventory.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. We
But that all
run,
needs to be put together in a book so that we have it available.
and that is always changing. So it's something that we can compile and provide to you. You know, anything that you don't have that you need, I can happily work on getting together and working with you.
So I guess my preference would be, and I understand, I mean, we're talking about the total price of this was, refresh me again.
$2,925.
Okay, so it's almost $3,000, so that's what, about $100 an employee, a little bit more?
It's,
117.
117, is this every 3 years?
Covers you for 3 years.
Right, okay, it covers us for 3 years, so, you know, we have a lot of demands on our budget, we were just talking about animals. I certainly think that we need to have a price for the plan, because we want to be in compliance, and, whatever we're supposed to have, we need to have. So that, I assume that would be for an additional charge.
Any kind of incident response plan or policy that you need from us, that's all part of what you pay us for. We're happy to just provide that and work with you, make sure it says what you want it to say.
Right, and
That
then,
will be charged.
So that's part of
That's part of your already existing contract with us. We're
Okay,
happy to
well-
help build that.
then I think we should call upon Inspired Technologies to provide us with that required plan. And then to me, it's kind of a value judgment. I do a lot of training online in 4 hours. We all know we take the 4-hour ethics online. That is a lot of time. So, you know, do we want to put in the $3,000 and have the 15-minute course? Or do we want to require everyone to sign up with the University of South Florida? And I don't know, it seems to me like time is important, we need to get people trained. But I would be interested to know what our interim city manager thinks, you know, which would be better, and of course Commissioner Lori took the course. You know, do we think it's worth it to have our employees put aside that 4 hours?
You went to it, didn't you go, where'd you, part of the, went to Jacksonville?
I had another conference, but some other staff.
Other staff went to Jacksonville.
They do it in person, you know, several times, like I said, a year, but you can do it online as well at any point. And that's the USF version is online.
My question is, how can you take 4 hours and condense it into 15
I
minutes?
don't see how you,
I don't know what they have in the 4 hour, I mean, I can talk all day about
We should do
IT.
that with our ethics.
I can run till I'm dry in the mouth about IT stuff, but I think that the very important highlights can be done in a very quick and easy manner.
is it something that I can have access to a demo version to look at?
Yeah, I can, yeah, absolutely, I can walk you right through it.
Because that I think, because I can compare.
And I guess I'm really, until we have this policy in place, this plan in place, I mean, as far as our employees and making sure that they're properly trained in this, I think right now they should go ahead and we should work with Sheila and have them sit down for this, just so that we are in compliance.
I think it's important. We did have a recent incident where an email came in and it was not a good one. It looked like it was from one of our local property owners, when in essence it wasn't. It came up on all of our computers. One of our employees was trying to click on it. Thankfully, we called Mark from IT right away. So it is an issue that needs to be addressed. I think our staff should be knowledgeable of cybersecurity. It's very important. So this contract is this proposal is for 3 years and continued training. So if we have new employees that come on board, they're trained right away without the need to sit through the 4 hours we want. So I think it's worth consideration.
And you also have to consider 4 hours times 25, and what that would cost every year anyway. I mean, in time. I know, yeah, I mean, we were saying, it, 4 hours to sit through our ethics training sometimes, that it's a long day.
There's a lot of information, and it's very valuable information that you get from it that we have to, refer to. So, I mean, it never bothers me. I always learn something, no matter every time I take it.
But I will say, I took it in person last year, and I enjoyed it. It was just much more robust in person than it was online. So, just saying.
Yeah, I will say if it does help in your decision making at all, with KnowBe4, and like I said, I'm a little guarded on the specifics of this information, but there is an assessment that you do get with the level of KnowBe4 that we've quoted here that is ongoing, that will let you know where your vulnerabilities are within your personnel. So that's something that's actionable that we can really kind of target and strengthen the weak points with. I don't know if UF offers that, but I do know that that's at least part of that.
So I think the takeaway here is, we definitely, if you would please bring back to us a plan, a recommended plan. Is that
An
correct?
incident response plan,
Yes.
just to be specific.
Yes.
Okay, absolutely.
Commissioner, shall be in agreement with that? Yeah. And then what do we want to do with this proposal? Do you want to further do some more research to see what else is available?
I would be willing to, I would like to do that before we spend, $3,000. Just, I think it's important. And obviously, I was the one that brought this up 2 months ago. And, I know it's important, but I also want to do it right and do it with the proper, resources and not waste the taxpayers' money if possible.
So, Mr. McFadden, I do want to ask you, with the other municipalities you're working with, how many of those, are you working with and currently that are in compliance with this and have actually enacted a program in cyber?
Most of them, and it's this product.
Is it something that you brought to their attention? Because we have this contract with you as our IT provider.
Yes.
Really our MIS, everything that has
Absolutely.
to do with that.
Yep.
And rely on you, because none of us, again, are those experts, and we rely on you to bring that
Yes,
information
ma'am.
to us to make sure that we are in compliance.
Yes, ma'am. So I did bring this to Charles Rudd maybe sometime last year.
Okay,
And I spoke to him about it, and then it was decided to go with the kind of 1 a year training, and I advised against it, obviously. I support anything the city wants to do.
and that's why they
100%.
went to Jacksonville, I guess that's.
I guess that's where it was. I wasn't really given any detail, but we did provide this information.
I
That's
think that
also,
should be provided to, it should be required of the commission also. So the commission should also be doing this, because, how many of you gotten emails from me that we don't know who that is from some
it
state?
is,
email, they always.
It is very, very much recommended that the commission's involved. I mean, do you have a city email?
Yes, we do.
Yep,
We all-
so you would need to be involved in this. Every other municipality that we do, their commission is involved as well. You guys are VIPs, you're the targets, you know? So it's even more important that you guys are aware of all
Well,
this.
it is because they'll use our name, and because they use our name, people think that, you know, the influence that might have.
They're always asking for money from Michelle. So Michelle is always asking.
Michelle does.
Can you go get some Google gift cards?
Mayor, I think you raised a good point, that something of this level of seriousness and state requirements, a letter to the city manager and all the commission would have been a good idea. Just so we are informed, because it's a very
Yeah, but that's not his, I
significant
mean,
issue.
he deals with the city manager, so that falls on the city manager, making sure the city manager gets it to us.
Right.
And that we're in compliance. And
I don't
so
ever want to overstep my
Right
bounds.
now, our biggest concern is making sure that we're in compliance.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you will help us with the incident plan
Yes, ma'am.
and bring that to the next meeting, Commissioner Lori, I think at the next meeting, we need to put this as an action item that we need to vote on and get this going to make sure that.
Absolutely, and what I'll do, even so, I can even have it ready before the end of the week, but I'll work with the city manager to make sure that it's specific to Crescent City. It says exactly what you guys wanted to say, and then we can even further review it again to make sure if there's any changes you want to make. Absolutely, happy to help.
And Mayor, just one question for Commissioner Lori, and thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So the University of South Florida program, that is available for anyone who needs it at any time. That's on demand and free. So if
And
our,
I signed up for it today, and it even has a place where you put in your human resource contact email so that they sends it to the person that's coordinating it to keep track of it.
So-
They specifically set it up for that,
so the,
purpose.
okay, then can the rest of the commission figure out where to find us?
Yeah, and I can.
He's got,
Okay.
he's provided some information on there. There's
Okay,
information in the back.
but, so if our interim city manager feels like there's an urgent need for a particular employee to be updated between now and May, they could go and make use of this?
Yes.
Okay.
With that. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay, with that, Captain Ussery.
Can we talk about the dogs really quick and the
Sure.
plants on May music and all the other peacocks and
Go
everything
ahead.
else? So
Go ahead.
one of the challenges we faced, we talked about a while back, was process. There's gotta be accountability for this stuff. So right now, what stands in place are between us and the citations and what happens after the citation gets issued is manpower and process. And how this kind of works is, and I'll go from beginning to end, is you get a barking dog complaint, I have a victim or a witness complaint, whatever you want to call it. I go to that person where said barking dog is, I issue them a citation. At that point, a process should start. Right now, there are no magistrates seeing these civil citations, and there's no process to it. So we're working on that currently. So I go issue the citation, they either do one thing, they either go, or two things, either pay it or they throw it in the garbage, and there's no consequences. So what happens is, when someone gets issued that citation and they say, I'm not guilty, then we as a city have to provide them legal counsel to have a court hearing. So that whole process is in the works right now. We've been working with Matt Reynolds, and it's not just us either, it's our animal control as well. The citations just don't hold any teeth, and I don't know what that looks like. I know on tows and stuff like that, when you don't get your car from a tow yard, they put a lien on your driver's license. And when you go get your driver's license renewed, you have to pay that lien first before you get your driver's license back. So I don't know if that's some way we can go to make people, pay for these citations or whatnot. So that's a process that we are working on. So I think we gotta get that done first. Another thing I've mentioned in the past is, one, we venture off here a little bit. The animal control is building the new facility. I don't know when that date is gonna be. I can get with you and figure out what that date's gonna be. We'll look a little bit better, or we'll have some type of relief. So there's a lot of things that are working in progress to make this, to try to alleviate some of this nonsense that we're seeing with the dogs and the peacocks and everything else, so. Any questions on that?
Anybody have any questions on this?
Not at this time, but.
And I think, and I mentioned to you as well, is just like you guys, when we need extra deputies to do whatever, you could probably contract with the county and just hire animal control services for overtime rates. And we do
Talk
it.
to them about that.
And we
Did
do it.
talk to them, and they were not interested.
Okay, perfect. All right.
That, I mean, that was, I do know that Charles Rudd did talk to, the county and that proposal, there was a proposal for that.
Right now, your ordinance says that your ordinance is gonna be enforced by the county animal control pursuant to an interlocal agreement.
Mhm.
So that's what your ordinance holds. I was looking it up earlier.
They asked us, the county asked us to accept their animal control ordinance. So, ours would mirror theirs, and theirs was not as strong as ours. And so we would not do that. We had, discussions with them, and ours was not as strong.
But no, ours is much better,
Yes, ours was much better.
and we can thank whoever wrote it in the past, but,
That's what I'm sorry, ours was stronger than theirs, but we kept ours.
so, but Mayor,
I'm sorry, so.
this is part of some of the journey we've been through. I could have sworn that, there's somewhere in our code that gives our code officer the authority to address barking dogs. Is barking dogs in the section of the code that our attorney is looking at?
So there's
This was, yeah.
There's also limitations on the number of animals you can have,
Right, and,
and that's in our ordinances. So I don't know if that is
well,
enforced.
So you're saying that they're looking, they can attach that to a driver's license, so
I'm not saying, I'm just trying to.
that they're looking
that
at how they could do that. but
I
that's-
believe that's the Florida statute under how tows and stuff like that are.
Yeah, not for us,
Or
but for
mechanics
those
lien,
they could attach it.
mechanics lien,
That
things like
would be
that.
interesting to see if we did have that, how we could attach it either to utilities. But it would have to probably go to the magistrate first.
And they have to process it.
And then they would process it, yes.
as we've been discussing this, and we've had 2 workshops on animal control, it has crossed my mind before that there are improvements to our ordinance that we could make that would help us. And, we might be able to give ourselves more options for enforcement if we looked at it. So, and it's always complicated, and I know that, Captain has said there are things moving forward that will help us, but I think that there is more that we can do to help ourselves in our ordinance, little bit by little bit.
And again, I was just using the animals or the dogs or the complaints about that stuff. It goes into parks and dealing with issues in the parks. And then we talk about the fireworks, people get stuck trying to put their boats in then where there's not a boat ramp at. We've had all kind of issues, and it's just something we've.
It's an enforcement, it's, we can put it on paper, it's how do we enforce it? And that's what we come down to every time, because we put it on paper, and how do we enforce it? I have to say, the noise, we did that with our noise, we increased that, and I know that's what you use, and you tell them that, and I haven't gotten, I know there's noise out there, but.
And again, there's a process there when we talk about noise, because
Yes.
we've got to have a certified meter.
Yeah.
Then we've got to have somebody that's trained and qualified to run that said meter. So it's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, it's the enforcement, and that's what we have to figure out. So Don, with your help also, any recommendations you might have?
It's a tough subject, and, I mean, I guess that's why it remains unresolved in so many different areas. It's,
Can the city make it a misdemeanor? Just kidding. Just kidding. By the alcohol.
I'm not sure that was a helpful comment, Captain. It's a money thing. I mean,
It is.
of course, Putnam County, they are building a facility, but I don't know how much capacity it's going to have in all honesty. And when I was with the city of Palatka, I approached the county about allowing us to fund. I understand that their facility is going to be modular. So I asked the county about the ability to add a wing or let us pay for a wing at the city, so that we would have room for animals that the city had called animal control about, that are, and we had a truck, and we had an animal control officer for a while, but didn't have any place to put the animals. And it's a problem, but it's a problem from a lot of different perspectives because, the first time that an animal is mistreated by you, by the city, you're probably gonna be reading about yourself or seeing yourself on national TV. We had that happen in the city of Palatka. We had more interest in that than we've had over a lot of other things down there when someone called one of the national news organizations about a dog that allegedly was improperly impounded or wasn't treated properly. So it's a big question, and you don't have the money to hire to fund a pound or animal control facility, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if you have the money to buy a truck, hire an animal control officer, and then you mentioned the magistrate process. I guess they're going to be asking for contributions from everybody who's participating. I don't know how they're going to fund that magistrate process. So it's an issue.
It's a nationwide issue. It's not just here in Crescent City, it's a nationwide issue. Everybody has it. It's just right now, it's right here.
That's getting worse. The economy tanks or I shouldn't say it that way, but if the economy, if money gets tighter, people
Already,
can.
pet food has already gone up,
Absolutely.
you know, and so,
Well, but there are mayor jurisdictions that do a lot better than we do. And again, I think this is well worthy of another workshop, and we need to look at everything and do what other people do.
You have a jurisdiction
do
that
you have a
you have as
jurisdiction
a
that you
model.
know that has a model that, like, I was gonna say that
Well,
we could use?
I've looked at them before, I can look at them again. I'm not too
Between
happy
you
to
and
bring
Commissioner
it back,
Burton and
but
Jenny, have some
sometimes it's
recommendations.
just little small things that we do, and every small thing makes a difference. There's big things that you could do, but we don't seem to have the money for that. So I'm happy to contribute what I can. And I think we need to look at what we can as opposed to what seems to be beyond our reach, and I think we'll get somewhere.
And Commissioner Burton, and with Commissioner Burton, so we'll put that on our workshop list so that we have a workshop on this and we can have the presentations from Jenny O'Fleur and Commissioner Burton and also Commissioner DeVito, if you would look into that. The citizens, it's quality of life, you know, and when somebody's concerned and scared to walk down their road, you know, that's where it falls back on us because they look to us to make sure that they have the quality of life that they've bought into here in Crescent City, and you don't want anybody ever to be fearful. And they are, especially with a lot of our older people, our older residents, you know, walking and fearful that they're not gonna get away from a dog. So that's, anyway, okay, Captain, thank you.
Sorry for going down that rabbit hole. All right.
We went right down that rabbit hole again, thank you.
So first of all, next I want to say thank you to everybody, all the citizens of Crescent City that are out there watching now. Everything went great with the Catfish Festival. We had a couple after parties that were a bit concerning to some people. However, I had a crowd there that those guys were amazing, just like they were last year. They gathered up behind my office over there and got probably, I would say, probably around 300 people, maybe
At
more.
least 300.
Maybe more, and I went out basically went in the middle of the street and said, hey, we gotta go over to Bay Street, we playing this off, and in about 10 minutes, everybody left. Someone came behind everybody and picked all the garbage up, and they moved over to Bay Street. From there, we gave them a timeline, we told them 10 o'clock, you gotta cut everything off. At about 9:45, we left, let them do whatever they did, didn't have any calls for service that I could find. They had their gathering, seemed like everybody had a good time, the crowd was positive, they gave us no problems, and at 9:45, they shut the music down, at 10 o'clock, everybody was gone. So it worked perfectly.
Thank you.
I thank everybody for that, because we were definitely, I mean, I had a lot of manpower here, don't get me wrong, we were prepared, but for a crowd that big, we really gotta sit back and wait until it's over with and deal with the aftermath.
I have to say that I was extremely impressed Saturday evening because I drove a golf cart right into the middle of that on Main Street. And wasn't sure how I was gonna get out of it. And there were at least 200, possibly 300 people there. And you're right, I drove back through there in a regular car in about 30 minutes. And you would have never known. It was like, did I really come through here earlier? I mean, it was, so thank you, and they had cleaned everything up. And there was nobody there except for 3 people in Book Rapids, and that's it. So, thank you.
All right, moving into our report. I don't have much, which is good. We did have one incident where it was a domestic battery. Obviously, there's parts of this, I can't say where the address and stuff was, just for the victim's protection. It was domestic battery by strangulation. You can kind of do the math on that. Next was a traffic crash, or one traffic crash that we had 2 vehicles traveling south on Summit Street. I don't know how it happened, but somehow this car made like a really weird turn and tried to turn on Reed Avenue, and the other car was gonna try to pass him, and they collided in the front. I guess they were trying to, anyway, they were passing and they hit each other. No injuries were reported in that one.
Mike.
No, it's, Summit Street, yeah, and that where it goes into 2 lanes from 4 lanes, right there at Main Street.
All right, my clicker quit working, so forgive me. Two calls for service, 171 calls for service, 37 traffic stops, traffic accidents, 1, 11 total reports in the city, 7 arrests, and that's charging affidavits filed with the state attorney's office. We didn't have any of those. Any questions on those numbers? Six-month crime comparison, no robberies, no burglaries, no vehicle thefts, 1 aggravated assault for a total of 1 crime, 200% decrease. And with that, that's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner, Commissioner, thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Captain, we're gonna make you an honorary commissioner. Does anybody have any questions for the county? Commissioner Burton?
No,
Do you hear anything
just from you.
at 6:15?
I'm just saying, no, that whole deal on people at this Main Street. We heard that was probably going on for at least an hour and a half, and of course, because our city is really kind of so noisy really through the whole day, and there are people are just noisy all day, you know, whether they're having a party or whatever. It didn't really occur to me that there was 300 people over there. I just knew that it was loud.
There's
And,
one of the loudest radios I believe that I have ever heard. You would
oh,
see some of these.
oh my God, we've heard that before, and we've driven through it, in that area, and, but when I got the phone call, it was like, yeah, I've been listening to this. I mean, my house, you know, when you get into that whole bass thing, it rocks the whole house, and, but I was thinking, well, you know, we do have some rules that allow that kind of stuff to happen. And so I didn't know that there was 300 people over there, okay? Maybe we don't have rules that allow that to happen. But we don't have rules where, you know, they can be noisy until 10 o'clock.
Well, and that's kind of the way I judge dealing with situations, is when the city speaks, then we respond.
Okay.
And when the city spoke, I responded.
Right, exactly, exactly. So, thank you.
I was talking about, you mentioned to me the other day, when I saw you, you said, you know, that's 6:30 motorcycle. That's what I was talking about, 6:15.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
She mentioned between 6 and 6:30, there's a motorcycle that you guys never seen me catch.
I got
You got him?
Did you get it?
All right, Chan.
About a month ago.
And so he was out in his yard, and I heard him go by, and Chan went, and I saw Chan go, boom.
Well, let me tell you, you know, as soon as she said that,
I told him it's gonna get expensive for him if you don't cut it out. So I think he took it to heart, and he was actually very humble.
well, thank you for that, but I started laughing, because the very next morning, you know, I heard that motorcycle between 6 and 6, you know, go down, and go, you know, and I listened to it for about a week, so it must have been about a week later that she finally got him.
And Chan, he didn't do that, just as you know, he didn't do that as a citizen, he did that job in his official capacity.
Just
So
have to- just
citizens,
have to
please
be
don't
on-
chase after motorcycles.
So as a result of the Catfish Festival, we actually made a little bit of money off of it. We had a gentleman who decided to run from us and throw around $31,000 in cash out of his car with some drugs in it.
Did he
So
really?
we may seize $31,000, somewhere around there. But let's just say $30,000, so we made $30,000 off Catfish
Does
Festival.
that get donated back to the city?
Yes, that goes back to us.
That's at the sheriff's office or us?
Yes.
It goes to the sheriff's office. Wow, you just threw the cash, you just threw cash out the window?
Thought we didn't see it.
You just
Come
want
back
to
and get it later.
Did y'all stop and just pick the cash up, or did you actually catch the guy?
No, we didn't care about him anymore. Because normally what happens is you chase the cat chases the mouse, and then the mouse calls the friend to come around there and pick the bag up.
That's right.
So he immediately stopped and get that. We already had him identified.
It was the Louis bag also.
It was a what?
Louis Vuitton.
$4,000.
And a Louis, and he threw a Louis, are you sure it wasn't not? It was an official Louis?
Little tag in the bottom of it.
Wish I'd done right along that
We didn't see much of him because it was in a scat pack, which is a very fast car, so we didn't have a chance.
Yeah.
Well,
Other than that, any questions?
thank you, Commissioner DeVito, did you have it? Okay, thank you, Captain.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we hope you enjoyed your vacation.
Oh, always.
Okay, with that, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna close out, I'm gonna recess our regular meeting, I'm gonna open up our CRA. We've got, if you'll look on there, Christina, you wanna,
Sure, firstly, I'll update you on our pending CRA projects. We have Pam's Kitchen wrapping up. We've just about dispersed all of the grant funds to that project. I think there's roughly about $1,000 left that they'll be submitting some invoices for that, but that should be wrapping up shortly, and Pam's Kitchen should be set to open within the month. I'll keep you posted on that.
I think it went great. The papers and everything is really shaping up.
Yep, and we're on the Lawrence building. You may recall, you all approved some windows a few months or quite some time ago. The contractor has received his first deposit. We're doing 50/50, and the windows are being ordered and permitting and everything's underway. So that's all good. And then finally, we have this legislative call to action. You all may, I'm sure you probably have received the updates. We all, just as I have, we have our call to action to oppose Bill 1232. So you'll see in your packet, there's information from there to, prepare a message for the Senate committee and et cetera. So
I think the question is, do we send a letter to both our senator and representative? Do we want to send that same letter, at this point, when I refer to our 3 legislative, is that something that at this point?
I mean, the more contact they hear from us, the better.
Okay, so,
And not just to our representatives, the entire committee of
I
women.
mean, that's a lot of work for,
It is.
you know,
But I sent one to each one of them. I just had time to see it, so last week. So, I mean,
I have an update.
yeah, just like,
Commissioner.
Okay, so, I contacted the League of Cities attorney who's the lead on this because the requests we were getting from the League of Cities were slightly different than the request that came in from the Redevelopment Association. And the status right now with the Senate bill and the House bill is moving quite along and appears to be very strongly supported in the House, unfortunately, because it doesn't do a lot for us. But in the Senate, the bill is currently in its last committee of reference, which is the Rules Committee. If it got agended, they would know today. And the suggestion was that at this time in the session, this was from that, League of Cities Attorney, that it would be more effective to make a phone call to the office of each member of the Rules Committee. And as well to contact our Senator Leak, who we did before, and ask him to, ask the members of the Rules Committee either not, well, ask the chair not to agenda it, but to ask Senator Pasadena to not agenda that bill. And that may be, a done deal by now, I haven't looked at my phone. But he said specifically phone calls would be, maybe get more attention than a letter. So, I mean, we can do whatever we want to do, we can do what, redevelopment works asked us to as well. But certainly, I think Commissioner Burton and Commissioner Bory and I, we have the little books they gave us from Tallahassee that will have the members of the Rules Committee and their phone numbers. So, we can do whatever we want, it doesn't hurt to send a letter. But they said calls were good.
And when I sent mine to Senator Pasadena, it said that she received so many, you won't be able to receive a response.
Right.
That they do read them.
Well, and quite frankly,
Somebody
anybody,
reads them.
I'm sorry,
Keep track of them.
I'm sorry,
that's right.
sorry, I was just going to say, any member of the public who would like to call our legislators and who is interested in the success of our CRA or our Main Street program, which is funded somewhat by our CRA funds, they are more than welcome to make a call to Senator Leak's office and speak up or speak out saying that they're not in favor of Senator Leak.
And Commissioner DeVito, having worked in that arena years ago, what are your thoughts on them receiving phone calls from? What do you think that, how do you think that, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think those phone calls are beneficial? Do you, as, with their staff members sitting there, having to take those phone calls?
Well, let's put it this way, we don't have a crystal ball, we don't know what will help. Every legislative office is probably somewhat different, but the League of Cities specifically said it's worth it to try to call the members of the Rules Committee, each and every one, and leave a message. That was their specific direction, because I said, we're being asked by letter, you're not saying by letter, what would you recommend? And they said, make a phone call. Frankly, I think we should do both. And the first letter that you sent was very, very good. You can send it again and send it to the Rules Committee.
Yeah.
Sure.
If that's what we're asking, is that what the commission would like for us to go ahead and send that letter out to all of the Rules Committee?
Yes, I think we should do everything we can, and I don't think it's unreasonable for us to get the list of phone numbers and call up and say who we are, and, if we have any friends or who want to call as well, that's perfectly fine. It doesn't take long to make a phone call.
Right, and you said one of the three of you can get that information
Yes.
to our clerk, so that if anybody in the audience would be interested in that, they can reach out to the.
And we can highlight it and highlight the phone numbers, you won't call the Tallahassee office at this time.
Mr. Holmes, do we need a motion on this or?
Can I just say one thing?
Yes.
As you may know, I sit through a lot of commission meetings, in various places.
Yeah.
And I know that some of the other cities are also taking action to get things into their plan as soon as possible. In the event that this does pass, right, you'll be limited in your ability to amend the plan and put projects in it. So there are many cities that are rushing to make sure that in the event this does get passed, they have projects which they can continue to pursue, because you're going to be limited in your ability to amend the plan if this passed. I just wanted to make sure that you guys had that on your.
Thank you, and I think October is when we have to have that in place, is that correct, if in fact this does pass? And I know, Christina, I know you and Mr. Brillhart have been working on that as a presentation to us as to,
Well, we were in really the brainstorming part of identifying a project, so that the discussion should continue amongst the board. You know, I can identify a project or projects, some proposals, and discuss it. We could discuss it.
and then, yes, and then we have to also discuss how we fund it, if we need to borrow. I know there's, the banks out there that are working with them to help communities do something, so for these projects, Mr. Gilhart had brought that up too. So, I guess maybe at the May, give us a report, and then we'd have to workshop it, so of course we have to workshop this, but I think we need to definitely look at projects that, as we look into the future and what we want with our CRA.
My suggestion was gonna be that we all look at our plan and see if there's anything that jumps out at us. If we were thinking maybe we would do this another year. Now
We
would
gotta
be
do
the
it,
time.
we gotta do it, yeah, we have to do it now, so let's put that on our workshop list. I know we're gonna be workshopped out, but we got a lot of things coming up. Okay, do we have anything else? Mr. Holmes, do we need to take a motion for the letter to go out to these additional?
If you want to go out on behalf of the commission, a motion would probably be appropriate.
Okay.
If you want to send it individually, then no.
Okay.
But if you want to go out on behalf of the commission as a whole, then yes.
Well, I move that we, send a letter to each of the members of the Senate Rules Committee on behalf of the city and the CRA.
Opposing Senate Bill 1242.
Opposing Senate Bill 1242.
Yes, and maybe, the mayor could use the letter that she sent before. It was very good. I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Maybe any other discussion? Do you have any public comment? Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Okay. Do you have anything else, Christina, for CRA?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna close out CRA. I do want to do this if everyone, if commission members, you're okay with this. Mr. Fred has to travel back, but let's go ahead and take his item up, and then I would like to take a 10-minute recess, for anybody that needs to take care of anything, and Commissioner Moore, and we'll go ahead and share it with all of you also. She, provided us with her wonderful banana pudding during our recess. So, we will make it available. Just don't eat a whole lot. Because she brought it to me.
Saw her go by and put it in a safe and wonder exactly what that was about.
Okay, with that, we've got, open up our public hearing. We've got a first reading of revised ordinance 2025-06, amending the public facilities element of Crescent City Comp Plan. Mr. Holmes, I'm gonna hand it over to you.
$2506 by title, an ordinance of the city of Crescent City, Florida, amending the public facilities element of the Crescent City Comprehensive Plan, providing for implementing administrative actions, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, providing for non-codification, and providing for an effective date.
Mr. Fred, would you like to speak to this?
Yes, I would. Are you familiar with the golf term a mulligan?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what we're doing here tonight. This is a amendment to the comp plan. It's an amendment to the water supply plan. You guys have already seen this, and you've already approved transmission to the state of Florida. That transmission was a little bit delayed, but it did go out. When it was received by the Department of Commerce, they had a problem with the form of the ordinance that was used on first reading to transmit the comprehensive plan. So while it was sent out to some of the technical agencies to review the content, and most particularly the Water Management District. They have absolutely no issue with the content of the amendment. It really is just the form of the ordinance on first reading, which there was a line in the ordinance right before signatures that said it was approved on first reading. And so that was the problem that they had.
Okay. But this works.
This works.
And so then after we approve the first reading, we still have to send it.
Well, if we approve in first reading, we'll have to transmit it to the state again. It will go out for review. We already know what the reviewing agencies are going to say. But then it will come back for second reading and adoption.
Okay, so do we have to be careful what we say when we make a motion? Do we say, I move that we adopt revised ordinance 2025-06? Is that acceptable language? Is the,
You could adopt it on first reading or approve it for transmission. That would be good, approve it for transmission. Approve on first reading and transmission to the Department of Commerce. I think they'd be happy with that if they saw the minutes. They won't, we're not gonna be transmitting the minutes, but.
okay, so you're saying approve on first reading revised ordinance 2025-06 for transmittal to the Florida Department of Commerce?
That would be fantastic.
Then I so move.
Second.
Okay, we have a proper motion and a second. Commissioners, do we have any other discussion? And then once they approve this, they'll send it back to us and we'll go to second reading, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I've seen no one, having any comment. I'm gonna open it up for public comment. Do we have any public comments? Seeing no public comment, I'm gonna close public comment. Madam Clerk, I'm going to ask you to do a roll call, please.
Commissioner Burton,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Lori,
Aye.
Commissioner DeVito,
Aye.
Mayor Myers.
Aye.
Thank you.
So approved for transmittal. Thank you, we appreciate it.
Then, many thanks for the suggestion about the CRA issue.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mark. Be safe.
Thank
With
you.
that, I'm gonna take a 10-minute recess. meeting is back in session. We're gonna go on to our business items. And we have before, Mr. Dodge.
Not the bit.
Hello again, Commissioners. Before I begin my presentation, I want to thank Commissioner Moore for the delicious treat. Very considerate. We all enjoyed it. Also, may I give the Commissioners, these paintings by Vera Green really add a great deal to this room. It's a wonderful thing that they're up, and a nice surprise. So thank you. This evening, I'm before you at this time to request on behalf of our historic marker for the Hubbard House. As you know, we've talked about this previously, and it is now time to talk about it again because the historic marker should be ready by the end of May, towards the end of May. So we're seeking two things this evening. As you can see by the paperwork, the location hasn't changed from our earlier presentation, and it is on North Lake Street. As you can see, it's at the north west corner of the property. The language has stayed the same, and we are asking two things this evening. Well, actually three. Your approval again of agreeing with us on the location of it. Assistance by the City Public Works to install it when it does arrive. And lastly, to help us financially to cover 50% of the cost. The total cost is $3,415, and half of that is $1,707.50. Do you have any questions of me?
You said the location of session would be at the northeast corner of
Of the property,
right?
yes.
And it's gonna be in the right of way, the city right of way?
It's in the right of way on the west side of North Lake Street.
Correct, yes.
Okay. So you would put it, she's got the big tree there, I said after you, where are you looking at on her property to put that?
Be at the north boundary line, I think.
Are you looking at the north boundary line, or did you not put it more towards the middle of her house property? On the right of way?
I think the idea is that it would be at the bottom of the hill so that someone can pull over and stop and read it.
Well, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying, but if you put it at the north boundary line, you wanna make sure that they know that it's right in front of the other, that it's right in front of her house, not down there.
Yes, North Lake. See there.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's something that can be, spelled out in person, kind of that spot.
See what I'm saying, that you don't want them to think it's the house next
Right.
door, you want it to be right in front of her,
No.
I would think you want it right in front of her house.
Yeah. So anywhere along that, I mean, over the other street, so you can see it.
Okay, so my question is, this was before us previously, did we approve placement of the sign in the right of way? And I believe, Mr. Dodge's memo, I can't find my memo, I believe it asks for, the city public works staff to do the installation, do the physical installation and provide
That's correct,
ready-mix concrete.
correct.
Okay, and we haven't done that before.
I believe we voted on this at one time and we said no. That's what I believe. We voted not to.
We didn't put much.
No, it was the, we did not vote to contribute to the cost of the sign.
Okay, that's what we.
Yes.
Yeah, right, what I'm addressing right now is the authorization to put the marker in the right of way and to have the city staff, do the installation and provide the ready mix. If we haven't already done that.
So those are new requests.
Those are gonna be different items,
Yes.
action items, I believe, so.
Okay.
So may we take the placement? And Mayor, did you have a suggestion on placement?
No, sir, I just thought that Commissioner Lori said it was at the boundary line, and I thought that it should be, my thinking, that it should be more in front of the house, so people know which house you're actually referring to. As you get closer to the boundary line, you don't want them to think it's the house next door to it by chance, so.
I
I don't
understand.
think there's any question which house it is.
Well, you never know, you never know,
And I think that's something that just needs to be,
Yeah.
on visual inspection.
yeah.
But I do agree, maybe you'd want it to be down the hill.
At the bottom of the hill, right away, absolutely, yeah.
Sorry, I apologize, I misspoke saying it.
And,
Commissioner Dugan?
right, and preferably not hacking up any tree roots when you do, find, as Commissioner Lori said, visual inspection, make sure it's the right spot. That's not destroying something that doesn't need to be destroyed. So Mayor, did you mean that was I was gonna make a motion to authorize the use of the right of way. And do you think it should be a separate motion to? No.
If you're gonna use it with our employees, the separate motion should be the monetary request.
I wasn't even addressing
Okay.
that. I was just gonna authorize the right of way and the city staff to place it.
Okay.
So, so Commissioners, I move that, we authorize the Fruitland Peninsula Historical Society in consultation with city staff to place the historic marker for the Hubbard Morris House in the city right of way at an appropriate location on Lake Street. And that we authorize, city staff to actually install the marker and provide the ready mix concrete that is necessary.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a proper motion and a second. Any discussion?
It's self-explanatory.
Christina, would that be the staff?
Yes.
We have a proper motion and a second. Do we have any, public comment? Seeing no public comment?
Commissioner DeVito,
Aye.
Commissioner Lori,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Burton,
Aye.
Mayor Myers.
Aye. So approved.
And Mayor, may I suggest that sometime prior, I'd be happy to go out with the Public Works people and look at the site and discuss any issues of tree roots or so forth.
You want to get with Christina, just coordinate that with Christina, absolutely,
Be happy to.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay.
And now let's move on to the money,
And now let's get to
the big question.
I've already voted on that. Say no.
Well, pardon me, Commissioner Ford, but remember, I warned you I was coming back. So I'm back.
Okay, so you're back.
Yes.
I don't know that we actually voted, and I'm sorry, you're still presenting.
Well, so now I'm requesting the funds. As we all know, this is a very important restoration and thorough. It's a fine example of excellence. And of course, the Mr. and Mrs. Morris purchased the house in 1987. They lived in it during the restoration. So it's a wonderful thing. And I'd like to point out the benefit of the community by having this historical markers. And there's a great opportunity to find examples of where these markers should be throughout our fine city. But they do cost, and the Historical Preservation Society and our members believe that it's a wonderful contribution and benefit to the city. However, it does come with a cost, And, let's face it, Historical Society, we manage, but we're not a large organization, particularly financially, so we seek your help.
Well, I think if I remember correctly though, and I don't have everything in front of me, I really wish that I did from our last discussion of this, but, my memory, if it kind of serves me half right anyway, the particulars and why we voted it down was, this is the marker that you bought, anybody can buy that marker really and put it on their house. It's not a certified kind of historical marker from the National Register, if I remember correctly. You know, so I could put one on my house too. My house is built in 1905.
Wait a minute, they don't go on houses, they're not designed for that. They're roadside, double sided.
Well, no, but I'm just saying that you can purchase those and, you know, this is not, you didn't go and qualify it through the regular application that you need to fill out to actually call it a nationally registered home. I'm afraid I didn't bring anything here, so I wasn't expecting this tonight.
I think I can make a little clarification there. The reason the Historical Society wants to have this house recognized is because A, it is the only structure in Crescent City that is individually, not as part of the historic district, individually listed on the National Register of Historic Places. And it was beautifully restored by Mama Morris and her husband, and she maintains it. And the idea is to recognize that. It's my understanding, because I've looked into historic markers for the Historic Society. Even if you qualify for a state marker, I believe you have to pay for it yourself unless you get a grant. Is that not correct? That's correct. And if you qualify for the National Register, you still have to pay for your own marker. They don't give you a marker. The difference is, this particular marker, and there are markers that meet a certain requirement and there are markers that don't. And you're right, you can buy a marker for your house. I don't know if you can say that it's on the National Register of Historic Places and it's not.
Well, I could have a marker.
Right, but I mean, that wouldn't be accurate. But anyway, and I don't remember, may I ask, Dan, does this marker specifically say that the house is on the National Register? And does it follow an approved format? Because I know we have a couple of other markers in town. We have one, we talked about this before. We have one at AME Baptist Church that talks about the church and April Randolph. And I believe there's a marker at our Bicentennial Park, but I could have mistaken about that. But that's a different marker.
It
Anyway,
reads such as, perhaps the finest residence of this period in Florida, and was placed on the historic National Register of Historic Places in 1973. So it does state it rather finely. The other point is, of course, Commissioner Burton, it would be very nice to get an official sign. However, the time delay that it would take and probably the additional expense would be extensive. So we are concerned about money. And we are concerned that, about the time of getting this done in honor of the Morris family and the fine work that they've done.
And really, it's not that makes it official. I mean, you have the state program, which is through the state of Florida, and you have to go through the historic commission in Tallahassee that they discuss and do all the wording, but then still the applicant has to pay for it. But this is a program that we wanted to start for South Putnam for Crescent City. And even on there, at the bottom, it says that this is placed by the Cleveland Peninsula Historical Society and the city of Crescent City. And that's what makes it a legitimate marker, is that these two organizations put their names behind it and say that this is a historic place and it's important to us. I mean, and that's one of the reasons why, you know, this is something that we want, that the Historical Society wants to do on a yearly basis to recognize and to point out these very important masterpieces, but basically in our town.
So how many more masterpieces do we have in Crescent City? I'm just curious, so that we can budget for them for next year, because this was not in the budget anywhere.
One a year, every May.
Well, so if we have one a year, my gosh, so we must have quite a lineup, so I'm just wondering what that lineup might be.
Well, in fact, we do. We're rich with them, and we'll have more once our historic survey is done, which is soon.
But this kind of came as a surprise, you know, you guys went out and you bought this, and I have to agree, it's a beautiful home.
Yes.
It really is a beautiful home. I love Molly Morris, and I think that it should be recognized. However, I just don't like the way you did it. You just kind of went and you ordered this thing, and then you came in and asked us for half the money. And I think, you know, if we're gonna move forward with doing this once a year, it'd be nice for you to give us a list of all the ones that you want, so that we can, at least plan for 1 year and make sure that it's in our budget. So, I'm just, maybe I'm being facetious here or whatever, but it, you know, I'm just saying.
Well, thank you for sharing your thoughts. They're very important to us. And we apologize if we were rushed this along, in your opinion. We didn't intend to. However, I'm sure, and I'm delighted that you agree with us the importance of doing it.
Oh, well, I do.
And it is something that we would like to come back once a year with a nomination. And as you recommend, we will do it sooner. And in fact, we're thinking about it now, because it takes a long time to get these signs produced.
And I do understand what Commissioner Burton's saying, is you put a name on it, you made us a partner with that, but the commission never has not given that approval as such to do that. And so that's where I believe Commissioner Burton is coming from, that when you do that and you ask us to be a partner, you know, we understand going forward, knowing now this is what you want to do, then we need to make sure that we figure out a way to budget this. Even in our community, we could put this in our community budget line that we do for the library every year. You know, we pretty much know for the library, we try our best to give that. This is just right now, and it is, I know $1,700 doesn't seem like a big ask, but right now, it's a big ask.
Well, and for the Historical Society, 3,400 is a much bigger one. And again, I apologize that we didn't approach you earlier on this. And certainly in the future, we want you very much involved. And you will be at an early start.
And I don't think we're in no means are we being critical, we're just saying that when, please in the future, you know, bring us along.
Yes.
Bring us along if this is something that you want, and when we do a budget, when we start on our budget, making sure that, you know, that you speak up and ask us to somewhere to put this into our budget, because this is now gonna be, sounds to me like an ongoing project.
Well, the rest of the city doesn't want to be part of it. I mean, it sounds like, I mean, they did bring it to us. They did bring it to us as a city commission before we ordered it. But
Did
when
the
you
city
said,
commission approve it?
no, you said you didn't want it to be a part of it. But
Okay.
Well, we brought it in December, Mayor. And I think to Commissioner Burton's point is that it should have been brought sooner, so that to demonstrate more of a partnership.
Well,
It's
and it's
excessive,
part of the
sure.
budget, which it just kind of wasn't, you know, because our budget, we're gonna start budgeting in, well, actually, the end of this month, we start
Now.
budget for the rest
Sure,
for
yeah.
next year, so,
Commissioner DeVito?
my suggestion, and I like to be consistent, I do not like to appropriate money piecemeal. And as much time and effort and my own family's resources that we put toward the historical society, I don't want to make a piecemeal allocation. Because my understanding, do we not have an ordinance coming before us at some point to deal with the fund balance that was brought forward? We actually voted to bring that forward. So at this point, I mean, I'm certainly willing to consider the city being a partner either this year and also in future years, but I do not want to take up one particular item outside of a broader budget ordinance, because we still have a lot of budgeting to do, and we have a lot of operational requests. So I'm really glad that Mr. Dodge brought this forward, but I think at this point, it's time to move on to our other agenda items. And we are going to be budgeting, and we voted to bring back an ordinance to deal with the carry forward. So I think that would be a more appropriate time.
When you take delivery of this, have y'all taken delivery already of the sign?
No, we haven't.
When do you take delivery?
We estimate later in May.
When is when are you hoping to have, are you going to have some sort of a dedication or anything there on the property once the sign goes up?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And we hope to do that in later May. We're just waiting for a more definite time.
Dedication ceremony in May of 2025, I think.
And we just want to make sure we have the sign.
Commissioners? Okay. You ready to move forward?
Well, I'm ready for the next agenda item, if that's what you mean by move forward, because.
Thank you.
And thank you, commissioners, for your input. It's always helpful.
Thank you. We'll get there. Okay, Christina?
All right, next topic is fireworks. As you know, historically, the yacht club has done our June fireworks display. Months ago, they advised that they would not be presenting the fireworks any longer, asked that the city take it over. And we are ready to move forward with that. Before you, I put a contract from Santori. Santori is the fireworks company that the yacht clubs work with throughout the years. And I'm just asking for your approval to move forward with the contract and with, of course, after our council reviewing it. I've secured funding, the yacht club's obligated up to $8,000, and I secured another sponsor for the balance, so there's no, that it wouldn't cost the city anything. I have confirmed with our insurance agent through Florida League of Cities that we are covered from a liability aspect, and we're good to go.
And this item is one, and again, Mr. Dodge, you'll be able to hopefully appreciate our position where we are right now. Is we've been doing these fireworks, we haven't, the yacht club's been doing these fireworks for years, and it brings out many communities. They've decided that from a liability standpoint, they no longer want to do that. However, they would sponsor, but they only sponsor up to $8,000. Santori, the fireworks, based on everything going up, they're $10,200 now. And so Christina has been racking her brain trying to figure out where she's gonna find an additional $2,200, so that we don't disappoint the community. And thankfully, thank you for doing so. She reached out to several vendors and one stepped up and offered to take care of the additional.
Okay, so I have a question about this. I remember the Commodore Yacht Club, our neighbor on Main Street, Kevin Jordan, presented this, and they said they would be paying for it. And when we got the original agenda packet, all that was there was a letter from the Santori company, and it mentioned both June and January 1st, which I don't even go there, December. But my questions to our interim manager at that time were, you know, where are we approving the contract, what are we approving, and also, now my question is, we are actually, sticking our neck out, entering into a contract with Santori, and do we have the cash in hand from the yacht club?
Not yet, but you will.
Okay, because when I look at this contract we just got today, and our city attorney had a chance to review it.
So she just said
It's contingent on,
she just got it.
Okay, that's what I mean, because cancellation, if we cancel for any reason, this is on the second page, I think in item 8, immediately, once signing it, you're on the hook for 25% of the signed contract. It goes up to 70%, well, let's see, you're on the hook. Basically, if we cancel 29 to 11 days prior, we're on the hook for 35%. I mean, I'm just concerned that we would sign this contract before we have the funds in hand from the yacht club, because if they wind up not funding it, we still have to pay Santori.
got it.
And that's a lot of money.
Yes. And I would ask Dawn's recommendation, perhaps we could enter into a memorandum of understanding with the yacht club since they're obligating most of the funds. I'm not sure how that our attorney use his discretion on that, how contractually speaking we should set this up.
I know Dawn, Mr. Holmes, you dealt with this at Black, so with the Black fireworks, so do you have any recommendations?
We didn't, we always had the funds in hand before we signed the contract. Either we were gonna fund them from the city or with benefactors. The contracts are relatively straightforward. I mean, I've read it a while. I didn't see it before tonight, but I read it just now. It's relatively straightforward. I'm sure it's their standard contract, and Santori, I don't know who all they do it for, but they were the ones that we contracted with a lot in the city of Black as well.
They're the ones that have always done them out here for the yacht club as well.
So as far as the yacht club, I don't know what their structure is really or whatever. So as far as memorandum of understanding, what do you have, any emails or something like that?
Yes, and, yeah, your communication, and they would enter into an agreement with us, maybe if the commission was more comfortable with it being written.
When would they be paid? You know?
I'm not sure if I know,
Well, they want 50% down, get signing the contract, don't they? Was I wrong about that?
Yeah, have to
Yeah, no, at the time this agreement is made, as evidenced by the execution of this writing, client will pay 1/2
remaining balance.
as set forth in paragraph 2. So that's $5,100, I guess, when you sign this, right?
But you're saying don't sign it.
So we would have to have that, we'd have to have that from the yacht club would have to have transmitted that money to us, or at least that amount to us with the commitment that they were going to, I mean,
I would just, like permission to go, you know, time's, going by quickly, and I'd like to secure the fireworks, for the community. With the exception of, having Mr. Holmes review the contract, I'd really just like permission to get it secured. I can bring back to you specific, more specifics as far as the funding, but the yacht club has basically, Dr. Jordan has given his word on behalf of the yacht club that they would obligate up to $8,000. And Xfinity has obligated $3,000. So actually the yacht club will be a little less out of their pocket. They'll be $7,200, and Xfinity will be contributing $3,000.
Do you have a deadline for signing this?
No, but he can modify the dates. This was just something I asked him to do, so I could present it this evening and bring it before you.
Well, I just mean though, do you have to have the commitment with them by a certain date? Have they got other
He didn't
places?
specify, and obviously time is of the essence. The good thing with our fireworks is it's a week before, 4th of July, so we're in a little bit better of a position than trying to get it for the 4th of July, but they're pretty flexible. They know I was bringing it before the commission. They understand our circumstance with our sponsors. And basically, I would just like to, again, secure it. They did express to me that because of the tariffs, prices are increasing, and of course, the fireworks come from China. So, that's also something to be mindful of.
Okay, but to me, the kicker is, all of our organizations in Crescent City are very small. Even if we have a memorandum of understanding with the yacht club, if they wind up not coming up with the money, I don't think there's anything we can do to actually require them to pay. And I particularly noted, Mr. Holmes said in Black, that they had money in hand before they signed the contract. Right,
Themselves.
okay, but this is a lot of money. When this was first proposed by the yacht club, they told us that they wanted us to take this over because of the liability issue, and they would provide the funding.
And they are.
Right, but I think we need to have the funding before we sign the contract.
Okay, so,
because we're
Mr.
liable.
Holmes, so that I think what we have to, we the commission, we've got to decide here, do we want fireworks for the community or do we not?
Absolutely.
And so, and if we do, then we've got to go through whatever we need to go through to make sure we secure that. Mr. Holmes, is there anything that we need to do with the yacht club to make sure that they in fact will pay what they have agreed to pay? Our yacht club
It could be as,
is, I mean, this is the integrity of our yacht club too, so we don't wanna, they've
So,
done this for years.
there's a balance there. I mean, obviously, sometimes you insult folks by trying to get a
Yes.
contract with them over a donation that they're making. So I guess it is a bit of a leap of faith, but you have a long history with that yacht club, and I don't think, no one has indicated that there's any reason not to trust their representation. My only concern was that you're gonna have to have the money in hand or $50 or $100 of it when you sign the contract. I was just trying to figure out by what date you had to sign the contract, understanding that they might have commitments for different things, other events. But as Christina said, if we're a week early before 4th of July, then maybe that lessens that pressure. But the contract doesn't state that $5,100 has to go with it when you sign it. So, and you're only talking about contributing 3 of it. So that leaves you 2,200 or 2,100 short, right?
No, the three is coming.
Yeah, we're none of our money, we're not funding any of this. So I
was
think
assuming
that,
that they were gonna be contributing to you, that you were gonna pay.
yes,
Is that all right?
yes.
All right, so you're coming with 3, Yacht Club's coming, or Comcast or whatever, and he's coming up with 3, Yacht Club's coming up with 8, but you're gonna be the conduit.
Yes. So if you have concerns about this money, I think that we could at least, commissioners, we could at least give Christina the authority to, work with the yacht club and Santori, making sure that Santori is aware that she can't sign this until she has the money in hand. They've dealt with the yacht club for many, many years, so they understand that as well. And if in fact we lose out, then, but at least we've given her the approvals that she needs with an understanding that we don't want to enter into a contract without the money in hand.
And by the money, do you have a specific amount in mind? The down payment or the entire amount?
We need to do your motion contingent upon me receiving funds and I'll look back at the funds from the yacht club and the other sponsor and coordinate that with Santori. We just need some approval to be able to.
Yes,
So
I think
this is all
we have a
been in
motion.
I
order.
have a motion.
Okay.
I move that we authorize the interim city manager to enter in a contract with Santori, and work out the details of getting the money for the down payment, but just to move with expediency on her part.
Okay, we have a second.
Well, I would support the motion if we authorized her to sign the contract once she had the funds sufficient to pay.
Do you want to amend your
No,
motion?
because I trust the yacht club, they're gonna pay the money. We've been doing this for 15 years. You think they're just gonna not do it now? I mean, we kind of have to have faith in our citizens and our residents. Are we gonna do fireworks or not? We're having a trade war with China, the price of these are gonna double if we don't sign a contract. So,
So, I have a motion
I'll second.
Okay, we have a proper motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion?
Well, I do not see, this did not come to us asking us to pay for the fireworks. That this is $10,000.
We're not paying.
We're not paying for the fireworks.
They're reimbursing us.
Commissioner Lori and I participate in 2 organizations in town together. Organizations change from year to year. I don't think that it is fair to the residents of Crescent City when everything is going up in price to say that we will agree to be on the hook for these funds, because the minute we sign that contract, that's exactly what we said. And I don't think it's unreasonable, the language the mayor used said, authorizes interim city manager to sign the contract when we have the funds in hand and to coordinate with Santori and let them know that the contract is coming and that she is coordinating. And I think that certainly protects our city money.
I think.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
Because otherwise we've.
Then I'll withdraw my motion, you make the motion.
So.
You have to rescind yours, okay?
He did,
I just did.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
He withdrew it.
So, I'm gonna try to track the mayor's language. I move that we authorize our interim city manager, to enter into a contract for the, what is that, Red, White, and Blue fireworks for June 28th. To sign the contract at such time and not until that she has the funds in hand to pay for the expense of the fireworks. And so she can sign the contract, but she first has to have the funds, and she can coordinate with Santori to make sure that they will hold that spot for us.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a proper motion and a second. Christina, do you feel that that's gonna be an issue? I mean, I know with Comcast that,
I just got word from Comcast earlier about, approval of the sponsorship with their team. I'll work on getting them an invoice tomorrow, but I know time is of the essence. I'll do the same with the yacht club, and I'll try to open everyone's as soon as possible.
okay. Thank you. So we have a proper motion and a second. Do we have any public discussion? Any public input? Okay, seeing no one come forward, we're gonna close public comment.
Commissioner Burton,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Lori,
Aye.
Commissioner DeVito,
Aye.
Mayor Myers.
Aye. Okay, so approved. We're gonna move on to, with the RFP, we're gonna.
Well, you have minutes and software, transcription,
and
but also
software.
think the clerk has some information on this she'd like to bring forward.
Okay.
Commissioners, before you in your packet, you have 2 quotes, if you will, one from Alcoy Enterprises, Computer Enterprises, and also Sony Clear. Those are transcription software for our minutes. I am asking you to consider us upgrading and getting something to assist the clerk with our minutes.
Okay, commissioners, any questions?
Okay, have you actually looked at these, Ms. Ames, have you actually looked at these products?
Yes, ma'am, I have, I had an extensive conversation with Jim from Alcoy Computers, in depth. What he offers us, it is really, it's it's larger than what we need, it's more of a custom format. The Sony Clear, I have checked with local municipalities and they are currently using,
And they're quite happy with that, or,
they are.
and
I
you
have
see the.
attached
And that's the Clear, that's the Southern Clear,
the
or?
Sony Clear, yes ma'am, I've attached sample minutes in your packets. They provide verbatim minutes, short minutes, workshops. We provide them with a template, you can set it up.
Yeah, the thing I didn't like about the, Alloy, I guess is the way you say that, Well, it's based on Apple,
It's based on Apple,
Yeah,
and
I
that's
saw
also
that.
a lot of, software.
so, and I'm not sure, we are actually kind of based on Apple and you're.
We're not
you're
really
right,
good
so
at
they've got to fit our needs.
There's not, there's no problem, don't work together.
Okay.
Macintosh is.
The Sony Clear, would allow us not to upgrade every piece of equipment that we have,
Okay.
which is a plus.
But does this, Sony Clear, does this include microphones and all the equipment?
Yes, it does, the total package, the estimate quote was $2,690.
And that's for,
As a voice tracker microphone kit, that's $695.
It also is a transcription service, they offer municipalities a 20% discount.
how does this voice, I mean,
It's for your
the one
license,
version has microphones for each one of us and wires running between them. This is not, this is a one microphone
correct,
for everybody, ever just to run into your system.
right,
Then
just
to the
running the
transcription.
system, correct.
So this is not gonna improve our audio situation in this room. Whereas the second one that you have would have new speakers that can be moved forward, that would actually make it so everyone can hear us and everything else and replace all of this technology. So this is not apples and apples, this is two separate things, really.
Correct,
Because this is the transcription software and then the other guy.
right,
This is
Sony
basic.
Clear is telling me what we currently have now to work with their product. It's a standalone,
That's not gonna make it better for everyone in here to hear us because of these microphones and how outdated the system is and the, right, the
There's,
speakers up on the wall that.
well, there's a significant price difference
I don't
too,
understand that,
so,
that's what I'm saying.
so I don't know that.
We're
this
getting
is
two different
$1,000
things.
price difference.
Right, I
I think
understand
what
that.
she's presenting to us is on tenants, on
Are
how,
we also,
how to better do that.
but we're also discussing spending money to upgrade the audio in this room to make it better and,
I think it's two separate things right now.
well, and that's what I'm saying, is it's two separate things.
Okay,
So
so
that we.
I'd like to make a motion to, move forward to purchase the Sony Clear Trio systems, for our recorder, or what do we wanna call this, for our transcription service? I guess for $26.90.
Second,
We have a motion and a second. We have any, other discussion on this?
I have some questions.
Okay.
Okay, so my first question is, and thank you for looking into this, from Sonic Clear, what I'm looking at, the first page that was in our package, it says it includes 40 hours of transcription. Okay, so for our commission, that would not quite cover all of our commission meetings a year.
is that a month? Or a year?
I'm not sure.
Well, that's what I'm asking. Just 40 hours of transcription is not gonna,
40 hours free, I do not see what the additional minute per page, I'm not sure,
and then
What that would
it's
entail.
25-hour bundle.
but I can find that out.
What, so, I mean, I'm not really sure what this means, what it will cover. And then, so, I mean, I would like to be clear on that. Is this gonna cover, because right now we're having workshops, special meetings, obviously the regular meetings seem to take the most, in terms of minutes. And then as well, this is only, once we purchase this is going forward, correct? Like it won't transcribe anything that we have on tape or on YouTube, is that right?
That's correct. Yes, because it's with their system. going forward.
So,
You have to have some, but I mean, and also, this would be an annual cost, at least the non-microphone part of it,
And then I can-
from what I understand.
Right.
If we look at the, because one's, you're talking about capital at the bottom at 900, well, I can't see. $695, that would just be a one-time purchase. Then the other $1,900 would be an annual thing.
exactly, and so one concern I have, I mean, I'm not sure what's changed. I know we've had great turnover in personnel. We currently have a backlog of minutes, both for the commission and for the boards. So obviously, something has changed.
Well, no, I'll tell you, the firewall, so it's my understanding because, I don't know if you've ever sat over here at this desk, but, to have that quiet time to be able to take care of doing the minutes, Karen oftentimes had to do that after hours on her own, and she had a computer that she would do that at home. The firewall, it's my understanding, has not allowed, any activity for how many months?
Yes, ma'am, I haven't had a VPN number since I started.
That's why we're purchasing it.
Yeah, yes, that's why we're purchasing a new firewall.
In order for them to work from home or work from a computer that's remote, you have to have a VPN, which scrambles and encrypts your signal. And if the firewall that we have is out of date and needs to be replaced, which is why we approved that purchase by fall.
Yes.
And so that needs to be installed so that they can continue to do their work. That's what, one of the things we mentioned was the fact that the firewall was out of date and they weren't able to use their VPNs. So they can't access anything on any of the computers inside City Hall.
And hopefully, just this, I think this last week, they did a change with the door, so that, because it's a continuous, I mean, if you're there, it's a continuous interruption. So when you're trying to do the minutes and you're listening to them, you're having to gap between the bad speakers and then watching the audio. I mean, I've sat there with Karen before and, her in tears almost because, so it's labor, it's very labor intensive.
There's technology that, all of these technology that's come a long way in order to make all these
Yes.
these things. And I don't think that, we should give her the tools necessary to do this. And I appreciate the fact that you researched this.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Lori. I will also say for the record, the minutes were behind when I started. This is obviously, your clerk was overworked before, so.
And here's the
Some
thing,
help.
our clerk is a salaried employee. And, salaried employees, for the most part, they work more than 40 hours a week. And they don't get paid anything extra for that. They might get a day off. Okay, if you're here for, our long meetings tonight, things like that. But you're here for all the meetings, it just, if this can help, bundle that up so that things can get done a little quicker, I think it's important. I agree with Commissioner Lori that we should give you that tool to do that.
No, my question is, are we taking this out of the additional line item, the money we put in the line item for City Hall?
Steve,
And what?
do you know where this is coming, where this is gonna come from?
I haven't looked at it
Can we make it come out of the City Hall improvements?
For software, it would be more half of the whole budget rise for software.
Software.
Yes, it's not equipment.
Yeah, it's not
Right.
just software.
Okay. Well, part of it is, but I mean, the microphone package is,
True, I mean,
but if I make the motion I move that we go ahead and approve the purchase of the Sonicare package.
but we already have a motion.
We already have a motion and a second.
Oh, okay, well, let's vote, please.
That's what we were discussing, is where it's gonna come from.
Sorry, I got lost.
I think we'll leave that to,
Steve?
and this is like with everything, with all of our employees, it's our public works, everybody, you have to give them the tools to do the job. And we've been doing this the old fashioned way for a very long time. And it's very stressed and it's very, very stressful. That's the most stressful part, I think, of probably the whole job is knowing that's hanging over your shoulders these minutes. That's what I've been told anyway from the clerks, and, so I think that's what we need to do. We're gonna do that. So with that, I'm gonna ask you,
Well,
do you have Commissioner DeVito?
yes, I would just like to say, I don't necessarily see anything wrong with this, but I think we should do it in the context of our larger budget discussion, even with the carryover funds. I just don't think we're doing the right thing when we piecemeal the budget. And as well, I do think we need to reflect, and I hope whoever we hire for city manager, reflect. We had an administrative assistant who had no problem doing the minutes for PNC and other the other boards. I would not judge, how minutes are supposed to be done by our last clerk. She was a great person, but I don't think it was.
I really,
I think this
no,
is
no, I
important.
really don't feel that way. We
No,
come in here and we publicly chastise our employees,
I'm not chastising our employee, she's not our employee, and I think this is
but
very
she was
important.
our employee.
Okay, but this is a very important point. That was not her strong point. She was not trained in it, she had not done it previously. I always took note of that.
Okay.
And I don't think we can.
We're past that.
Yes, we
Okay,
are.
but we're using it as the criteria for what we should do going forward. And that is not necessarily, a good criteria to use in going forward.
Well, I'm not using that in going forward. I'm saying that we need to give them the proper tools that they need to do the job that we've asked them to do.
And you need to be able to do it
So
more
with that,
efficiently.
I'm gonna-
More efficiently.
If I could, yes,
I'd just like to chime in as someone that's worked with the clerk for, our city clerk for over 3 years, and watched the minutes continually being issued. Internally, the way we operate internally, it's very stressful for the clerk, to say the least. Melanie, since she started, has done a fabulous job. And yes, she has the commission meetings and all the board meetings. She's also had special meetings. She started January 8th. We were in city manager recruitment mode there. There were several special meetings, impromptu. The minutes kept adding up and adding up. Our planning and zoning agendas and other agendas, there's a lot of projects going on in town. There are people that are in and out all day for permits and notary, it's just a continual revolving where the clerk doesn't stop. She doesn't work behind a closed office, so she's not able to hone in on her work and focus on it. There's just continual interruptions. That's why we made the decision to close the front door of City Hall so she could try to work more efficiently. We're now diverting all of the public traffic through utility billing. It's also a safety issue. We've had an issue where a gentleman came into the office and was wandering around City Hall. We felt unsafe. And so, you know, the least we can do is provide our staff with the adequate tools. And to be quite honestly, we're not doing it right now.
we are, thank you. Commissioner Burton, you had something?
Well, I agree, and, you know, Commissioner DeVito, if you go back to when I first became a commissioner, our meetings lasted an hour, and our minutes were about, not even a half page.
2 pages, now.
You know, we've gotten more and more sophisticated in what we're doing, we've gotten more and more, you know, there's just a lot more going on now than there was almost 6 years ago, quite a bit more than there was. And so, big difference. And the other thing too, is we have, I'm not one for a whole book on minutes for each meeting. I'm one with bullets, I like bullets and I like it to be quick. We have other commissioners that like books written, and those books take a lot longer than bullets. So, let's go ahead and go forward.
Madam Clerk, if you would please.
If I could, please, I just want to say for the record, I agree about the security issue. This is apples and oranges. And I have suggested before that our reception area needs to be better secured and safer, apples and oranges. And I do not agree that we have more going on now. I don't say this isn't needed. I don't think it's exactly the right time, it's not the right way. And we had just as much going on ever since I started going to commission meetings at different times, and we did not have a problem with the minutes. And I think we need to.
Okay,
That's enough, yeah.
That's it.
Let's go.
Madam Clerk, if you would please do a roll call.
Commissioner DeVito,
Nay.
Commissioner Lori,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Burton,
Aye.
Mayor Myers.
Aye. And I want to say to the commission, that for 4.5 years, chastising our clerk, just does not work. For 4.5 years, after a meeting, oftentimes I have them in tears in my office, and I'm sorry, but it's just so upsetting that we publicly chastise our clerk, and especially when we get one that's good and she's working hard and she's dedicated. And it's very difficult. If we have an issue with our clerk, please, don't do it here publicly. Take it to the city manager.
Excuse me, are you saying that I am chastising Melanie Gaines?
I'm saying that
No,
some of
Mayor,
the
yes or
comments,
no?
some of the
Are you
comments,
suggesting I am chastising her?
yes,
Because
I
well,
feel
I'm
like
not.
you are, I feel like you are.
Well, you're wrong.
Okay, well, I'm
You're
gonna
wrong.
move
I am
forward.
chastising
Right now, I feel like I am correct,
No.
and ask other commissioners if they feel the same way. Are you uncomfortable with the comments?
Yes, I can agree.
Okay, we're uncomfortable with the comments.
Okay,
Oh,
so
but I
then,
just wanna, I would like to end this conversation, it's really not going anywhere.
no.
And I'd like to suggest to everybody, no,
I'm
no,
sorry.
I'm going to
I have a point of order. First of all, point of order. Our rules that we have adopted that are published on our website say that commissioners are to speak to each other, not the audience. So please confine your remarks to the other commissioners. That's the point of order.
I am talking to the commissioner.
Commissioner Burton is not. She wants to address the
I
audience.
want to move forward.
In addressing the audience, you said I want to say to everyone. My second point is, you have personally all voted to make an aspersion and misconstrue my remarks. My criticism is to the way this commission has operated in the past to make sure that we did not require our city manager and our former clerk to adhere to standards of order and efficiency. We did not do that. There was no
Okay.
chastising our
That's your
clerk.
opinion,
And
that's your opinion.
Right, we did not, and I want to be very clear about that. I am very happy with our current personnel, and it is not I that has turned us into an accusation of personalities. I'm talking about us. The
I
buck stops with
included
us.
all of them, you're the one that pinpointed yourself, that you're the one
Sorry.
that identified
You just
yourself.
asked
and
for
said,
a vote. You just asked for a vote about how the commission
Okay.
feels about my comments.
We're moving forward
No,
with that.
thank you.
Would you like to address the urban tree grant?
I'd like to pull that from the agenda.
You want to
for this
pull that?
one. Yes.
Okay, you want to explain why?
We have more time than we anticipated when I drafted this bid and added it to the packet. I've since confirmed with the Department of Forestry that we have plenty of time, there's no rush for this, and I'd like to, it would be more applicable if we put it out for bid closer to the time we were going to plant, which would be in the winter months.
Okay, that's good. So commissioners, can I have, a motion to table this until, do you have a time specific?
We don't have one at the moment, maybe around the summertime, or, June.
Do you, Commissioner DeVito, having done with this?
Well, I think our interim city manager has a good recommendation, she has new information. And as well, I think that the people to comment on this would be the Tree and Garden Board, especially Ms. Bowerman, who owned a nursery and is well versed in how nurseries operate. So I think that the Tree and Garden Board should be asked to find a good time. Timing is everything.
I move that we table this until a time that the Tree and Garden Board brings it back to us.
A second. Do I have a motion or a second? I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Just,
Okay, all in favor, yes?
I was gonna say, the interim city manager has done fabulous work.
Yes.
He's ready to coordinate us.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, so moved. Update on the city manager search.
Mayor, I'd like to back up on the urban tree grant. One of the elements of the grant requirements is to hold a public education meeting regarding the trees that are to be planted.
Okay.
And we're just asking the commission to approve us to move forward with coordinating that, those public outreach or public education sessions pertaining to the tree grant.
Okay, the tree and garden board will be working with you on that.
Yes, they're already, it's all underway, I just wanted to bring it before you so you were aware and could give us permission to hold public meetings accordingly.
Okay.
I move that we give the Tree and Garden Board the permission to plan these public information sessions.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. So approved.
Thank you.
I guess we're gonna go to the update on the city manager search. As of, this afternoon, all have confirmed for the 22nd. They will be coming in, we have one that will be coming in, at about 1 o'clock. Be flying into Orlando at about 1 o'clock and said that they will, would like to be on the tour. So I think if we were to do a tour possibly about 3 o'clock and then have them back at about an hour tour anyway. Have them back at 4 for a public reception.
They're coming at 1 o'clock. I didn't hear
Yeah, I know. We're gonna try. He's gonna try, so we're gonna try. And then all but one, they set up everything for the background checks, and they have to send their information in to the background company directly. All but one, as of this afternoon, had done that, and I believe that one was working on it. So that has, started, and Sheila hopes to have that by the end of the afternoon, by the end of the week. If not, by the first definitely of next week.
Nothing in fact, not good on one of them, or we just inviting them?
Well, they might have their ticket, so it might give them an opportunity to, come forward and tell us, what they're doing. So that's where we are with that. We do have to talk about, as we go forward with that interview, we didn't talk about, we need to talk about questions, if we want to just have, standard questions. We can't do that here tonight, but if we want to just have, kind of like we did last time. I'm sorry, the last full go around. Yeah, we all kind of, yeah.
Okay, Mayor.
What works so well on Tuesday.
Yes. Commissioner DeVito.
Yes, I had the same thought about the questions. So these people have confirmed for Tuesday the 22nd, right?
Yes.
Is there any one of us who is not available on Monday to do a preparation for this interview? Because we can't ask them the same questions we asked them all on through. It would seem helpful to me to prepare a little bit, and also how long will we allotted per interview?
I talked to Jim about that, told him that we did 40 minutes this last time and we stayed right on time. I don't know that it's gonna be in the evening, so I don't know that we wanna go over 40 minutes. I mean, I think 40 minutes is ample time.
And
In 40-minute increments, yes, Commissioner DeVito?
sure, my thought was, I mean, we had interviews with them on Zoom. I don't know how the rest of the commission feels about it, but I felt like the last time we had a reception, that was very valuable, that one-on-one, more casual time.
We're having that at 4 o'clock.
Okay, and is it
afterwards,
Is it going to be the same duration? Are we just doing 4 to 5 or 4 to 5:30?
We're only doing 4 to 5.
Okay, so we just get it out with these 4 people, and then we're going right into the
Interviews, yeah.
Okay, so we don't want to do, I think last time we had an hour and a half with the folks. So we just want to do an hour.
I think an hour's good.
Okay.
Unless Commissioner, I mean,
I'm just
I'm
saying.
one person. How does everyone feel? Do you feel it an hour,
Hours for me.
for 4 people? Is everyone in agreement that an hour is a good time for a reception?
Because you're gonna get 4 interviews after that, so that's fine.
Which gives us an even better opportunity to really.
Yeah.
Okay, so the reception's gonna be 4 to 5, and then we're just going to go right into our interviews, and I would agree, I thought 40 minutes was perfectly sufficient. And are George and Jim going to be there then?
George and Jim do not know if they're going to be here. I have, talked to Jim, he was getting with George, quite possibly they might, if they can't be here, that we will do them through Zoom, allow them to listen in on Zoom. I did share with him and for everybody in the audience, again, this will not be live streamed, that you'll have to be here present to, listen to the interview process.
and come to the reception meeting.
And come to the reception and to meet the candidates. So you're asking if on Monday if we want to,
Get together.
we still have a list of questions, so we can go through those questions and send those, the clerk can send those out to everyone.
But I'm saying we need to meet together to decide what they are. We can't, in other words, to coordinate
Okay,
ourselves.
it's Monday, what does everyone's calendar look like on Monday?
I'm not sure.
It's open.
3 o'clock,
That's the odds afternoon better.
3 o'clock.
I would.
First thing in the morning is better for me, because you break up the whole day at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Commissioner Ward does not like the morning.
That's.
3 o'clock in the
I don't
afternoon,
have
no,
a
3 o'clock,
problem.
3 o'clock, if everybody wants to do 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock's fine.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I can do morning or afternoon.
I prefer morning myself.
It doesn't have to be at 8 o'clock, it can be at 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock's fine.
Is 10 o'clock fine?
I'm fine with 10 o'clock, that's great.
Okay. 10 o'clock, Monday morning.
On the 21st.
It's not my decision. Because if we have the next day.
So 10 o'clock on the 21st?
Sure.
That works for me.
It's Rachel.
Okay. So we'll do that.
Is that a workshop or is that a meeting? Does that mean that?
That would be a special meeting, because we'll vote on,
And we're not.
and that will not be live streamed. That will not be live streamed.
Just special, sorry.
And with that,
Be live streamed.
so are we good? Everybody satisfied with that? Okay, she will let us know if there's any issues. And I do want to say this, that, Christina, as we know, and I apologize for the paper did speak, and I'm not sure how the information, Christina did apply. And we greatly appreciate that interest in you going down this path. And the performance that you've done for us thus far as the interim city manager is to be commended. Thank you. It has nothing to do with us not believing in you and not thinking that you don't have the capabilities to move the city forward, in my opinion. Thank you. And whoever we choose, we know that you as their assistant city manager will guide and direct them, and we ask that they guide and direct you as well. So as you go down this path, you'll be successful. And I think that's what we've all tried to do and looked out for, is to make sure that we set you up for success and not for anything otherwise.
Thank you.
And as we go into the budget process, I do believe it's very important that for Christina, that she also, we make sure that she's a member of the, what are all the acronyms? ICMA, FCAA,
FCMA,
all of
FCCMA.
and so, I talked to Jim about that, and he felt that too, and said he would also offer some mentorship and, making sure that you get out there, network, and have that opportunity in those workshops, you'll learn a tremendous amount. So,
That's really one of the best parts about FCCMA, especially, is having them as mentors and then helping, guide you. In fact, on the FCCMA website, there's a really good long video series about what do you want to be a city manager and what it takes. And they talk to a lot of, former city managers or current city managers. It was actually really interesting. I liked it. So,
I applied for the job out of my love for Crescent City, not because I'm looking to move to Florida or be a city manager anywhere else. I chose this job because I love the town that I live in.
And it's,
So thank you all, and if you could, please, since I have been working with you all for over 3 years, I would like to ask if I could have a letter of recommendation to add to my resume. Thank you.
Well, we hope you'll stay here.
we do, I just wanted to make sure that it's not that we value you tremendously, and you have, I will say this from a staff standpoint, having been here in the office, the last 6 months have been pretty rough with staff. I've been very concerned. I felt like the dominoes were falling around us. But I have seen a true lift in spirits within our staff. And I think that has a lot to do with both you and Melanie. And just encouraging the staff and being there to support them. So thank you for that. And I know you'll continue that in your professional roles.
Thank you.
I just didn't think that the paper gave her enough accolades on it.
I was wondering what was going on, I guess I would read the paper to find out.
Yeah, it was like a,
Okay, with that, we're gonna go up to the update of the 2023-24 audit workshop with, Steve.
yes.
Yeah, the 2023-2024 audit, we've received the preliminary audit request list at the end of March. We're working on getting the auditors all those requested items. They've also sent us their final audit request list. We're gonna start working on those also. Their intention is to start their field work on 5/27 and be done by June 30th.
Cool. So, much faster.
Gonna stay on.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have any questions?
Just one question, Mr. Conklin. Thank you very much. So basically, it sounds like we're going to be, will be done by June 30th, but that means we'll just be a shade late getting it into the state.
Well, let's do June 30th.
Pardon?
June 30th.
Right, but I'm saying, I'm not sure I understood you correctly, that the work will be done and it will be presented to us by June 30th, or it will actually be in the hands of the state by June 30th?
Their goal is to have it presented in the state hands by June 30th.
Oh, well, that's good news. Thank you.
Thank you for everything you've done. That was your first audit. You got us through it.
Yes, well,
And it's my understanding from both you and Julianne, that the city is in good financial hands.
Yes.
And state, regardless of what others say, but both you and Julianne believe that.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
You see a few gray hairs.
There's a couple more in here, yeah.
I see your truck here. Every time I come by,
Yeah.
your truck is here, so I know you're working hard.
Steve's truck is here trying to get us back on track, and we appreciate that.
You're
Thank
getting
you.
it, you're getting it there, thank you.
That's exceptional.
With that, let's go to our workshops to be scheduled. We've got quite a few workshops, if everybody has a calendar. We've got the Crescent City Natural Gas Department. We asked that Katie come back and give us a presentation on as we move forward with our gas department. We've got a lot of changes coming up in that. We've got the fire department capital needs. You'll see the backup in that. The chief has already provided you with information that he wants to go over with us. Audit 2023 fiscal year, I don't know that, I think we don't need a, for that, do we?
The one that Lisa wanted to talk about.
I don't think that is listed the way I originally proposed it. It's okay, I mean, but the idea was that, we should spend some time in a workshop, looking at the proper procedures that we're supposed to follow. One of our deficiencies, when they did the testing, they found that 40% of our payments or invoices did not have the proper documentation. None of us, I don't know, maybe Commissioner Lori did, have received training in what the proper procedures are, and we're the ones that sign the checks. We all signed those checks that didn't have proper. So the idea is to have some time done outside of the meeting to go over, hopefully, Mr. Conklin will help us with this, to review what the procedures are and what kinds of documentation we need to be following.
Well, and I think that that's more procedural and not policy, so I think we need to ask them to give us, to present to us a procedure. The procedures that they should be following, or that they already are following, so that we have that, yes.
Yes, we actually had some discussion on this earlier today in our staff meeting, and particularly Steve and I. There are some issues going forward, some issues as far as purchase orders and things of that nature from our accounts payable department that we need to improve, and they're on it, we're on it. And I think we do have the language and that narrative that states our procedure that we're to follow when it comes to that.
Yes.
It has been a ding on our audit, so as soon as I was aware of it, I got with Mr. Conklin, we met with staff, and we're going to be adhering to the procedure, so we can share that with you, the language, as far as that procedure when it comes to purchase orders and payments on invoices and things like that. And otherwise, Mr. Conklin can provide where you would need.
And that's your expertise. That's your expertise, Steve, so that's what we would be looking to.
Right, but I mean, I think, when the auditor was here, I said, what is our role? Do we have a responsibility? And he said, you are ultimately responsible for making sure that the right procedures are in order. So my thought was, number one, the staff would present them to us, and number two, they would review with us what our responsibilities are.
Okay, well, that's a little different, so that
Well,
was,
there's
that's
two
fine.
parts of it. Yeah, but I'm thinking back, I mean, the auditor said, yes, it's partly on us, and sometimes,
Okay,
sometimes we don't have the right documentation.
so we'll set for that, and you can come in and give us our, go over the procedures with us and what our responsibility is
Yes.
in your role without us micromanaging you, okay? Okay, and then budget and timeline for year 2025-26. I don't know, Christine, if you have looked at some other opportunities out there that how people are doing that and.
Yes, we checked with other municipalities and I think Steve has a timeline that Flagler uses, it could be a good guide for us going forward.
It's actually very good.
We have already started discussion with staff regarding the upcoming budget and things that they may need and their wish list and whatnot. So we started that conversation and staff will be reporting back with those items in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
That's for you.
Yeah.
And Mayor, I wasn't sure what BSNA is.
I can tell you what.
Steve can speak on that, that's an accounting Steve, I'll let you talk about it, it's more of accounting.
Steve, you should just stay up
Stay
there.
up there.
It's your turn if I'm waiting.
What I've got is just a memo and just a packet, and information about CSN.
Okay, thank you.
And Steve would just like some time chiseled out in a workshop so that this company can do a presentation and staff's.
Oh, it's the accounting sector.
So can we combine that workshop with the, do we need a workshop on the budget and timeline for year 2025-26? I don't think so. I don't think so, that's,
No, I don't think we need a workshop, I think we just.
so BSNA, we can possibly put that with the audit workshop,
Yeah.
is that okay? Will that give, okay. And then we've got golf cart. We've moved that, kicked that can down the road and we need to actually have that workshop. And then you have John Rodriguez.
Yes, Mr. Rodriguez has requested to be able to present his project to the commission. You may remember it was the Oasis Resort project just on the south end of town. North. He's not in city limits, but he just wants to present.
Does he have a timeline when he's gonna get started or anything like that?
He's trying to get support. He's waiting for a letter of support from us really, and then he'll present to his investors.
Okay. So the sooner the better. That's right.
And we've had, just to brief you a little bit, Michael Rolhard and I have had several meetings with Mr. Rodriguez and his family who have requested to come in here and speak. We looped him in one of the meetings. Then we also looped in Mark Linton, what is it?
Litton.
Yeah, excuse me.
Yeah.
And so the Putnam County gave a letter of support, the chamber, and he's just looking for our support. And it'll give him an opportunity to have a discussion with you all and present his project.
So does everybody have their calendar out?
And didn't we discussed animals today?
Yes, I've got animals on here too, animal control.
Okay, and can any of these be, right, scheduled at the same time? And although I do think, the fire chief's memo asks that our workshop be held at the fire department.
The date is, So I think the golf cart and animal control can possibly be grouped together. Crescent City Natural Gas, what do you think that might be?
No, I'm gonna sleep, so, sorry.
Crescent City Natural Gas, do you think, how long do you think that they would want for that? Hour and a half, maybe?
Yes, definitely a discussion.
And that's when the summers.
Katie's recommendation.
Yeah, that's her.
So that's gonna be based on her schedule when she can come in there. So if you would, let's do this. Everybody could give the clerk some dates. Or we can give the clerk some dates at work. And then work it out with everybody, with everyone's schedule that needs to be here to make sure, because like the chief, we can't schedule it without the chief's schedule.
Melanie, I have the week of May 26th through May 30th.
Available,
I think we ought to just do every day.
that's one
Get it
more.
all done.
May 26th.
Graduation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's graduation and Memorial Day. Weekend.
Well, so we're looking for 4 different workshop slots, correct? 4 total?
Right now, yes.
Gas department, 1, fire department, 1, BSNA software and, check,
Animal and golf.
right, and then animal golf cart
Okay.
together, okay. I think that is a great suggestion to give our available dates to the clerk so that she can really match it up.
Okay, what is April? What is April the 28th, look like for anybody?
It's, okay.
Just give the dates to the clerk if everybody would. Can we do that?
Yes, because I think that's gonna take a
Mondays, Tuesdays,
to figure out.
Thursdays. You don't live on Fridays and you got Wednesdays.
Yeah, Thursdays are usually bad, so Thursdays usually don't work out, and Wednesday, Mondays and Tuesdays, what's it, Mondays and Tuesdays?
Okay, because you asked, oh wait, you said April 28th, and that is a
Monday.
Monday.
Monday. But I don't think I'm available Tuesday the 29th. Okay, I'll have to double
Again,
check, but
let's give our dates to the clerk, and she can, if she would, send those out. Look at some dates that all line up, give all your available dates to her, please. Okay, with that, we're gonna go to the city manager report. Do we have any questions of the city manager report?
I just have one question about the historic circle, 2 questions really. One, you mentioned that you made the first payment for the historic survey. That's in there somewhere.
Okay, oh,
The first installment, but, so my question is, can we get an update on where they are and
yes,
when they're planning to be done? And by update, I mean, can you ask them to send us an update or whatever, not right now, but whatever is most convenient for everyone?
certainly I already have that on my to-do list, so I will be sure to get that.
And then not in your report, but you and I emailed about this, the June 1st deadline for the historical resources grant for next year. And I sent you the information. So, is it your thought that we would apply for some of these grants? Because we have the Newman Lodge hanging out there.
Yes, I'll be looking at that next week, beginning of next week.
Okay, just, and then the commission would have to approve it at the May meeting.
Yes.
Okay. Just that, I think that's about
As you're aware, we did get our Doge letter back, and we got a letter back from them confirming that they received it.
great. And
I thought, didn't I see that they sent, just received?
Yes, I called the state to confirm the receipt of it, and then she sent me a confirming email and asked for it.
Okay.
right, and that was a great letter.
Thanks, Mr. Bill Brohart wrote it out, so I can't take credit for all of it, but
And that was not in the original agenda packet, but it's in the revised agenda packet, so if people want to see it, they can go online.
I do want to bring up, one thing on the vote docket here. This comes up a lot, there's a lot of criticism because we have not repaired that as of date. This is, while FEMA has advised, it's my understanding, Christina, FEMA has advised that we're eligible to move forward with the repairs. However, that does not guarantee the reimbursement. And we have a fiduciary responsibility that if we incur those repairs and we don't get reimbursed, then, and we could have gotten reimbursed.
Yes, we're, Mr. Harris and I have been, yesterday and today on calls with our FEMA representative. And, we're working with the mitigation team now to, it's all underway. So we're hoping that the docs can get fixed soon. But we're diligently working on our goal is to get it done. Yes, the FEMA representative has told us that we could move forward with the repairs. It wouldn't hinder our claim at all of them. However, we would have to lay the money out, and if for some reason we didn't get the money back from FEMA, then of course, so, it's looking good, and it's all in the works.
I mean, if it doesn't hinder us getting reimbursed, if we don't get
It
reimbursed.
does, it does.
I thought-
Yeah,
well, that's what it said.
and we pay for it.
Right,
It would not hinder reimbursement, is what you told us.
If we did the work, it doesn't affect the claim. The claim's still gonna process as it would had we not done the work. So it's just not guaranteed as yet, basically.
But if it's not guaranteed,
It's still in the works, so we don't know for sure what funding's coming in from FEMA. It's looking good. We have the docks pending as well as the bathrooms at Fletcher Park. And, we have moved forward with fixing the roof on the restroom. And, again, we're working closely with our FEMA rep, and now we can, a mitigation team, so.
It's not that
Keep you
we're,
posted.
it's not that we're not trying, that we don't want to do that. We went through this the last time it was damaged and it took forever. But we also want to make sure that we don't do anything to.
And on that topic, there's at least 3 times now in my memory that we've had to replace or fix that pier at Fletcher Park. Have you not considered raising it?
Raising it,
yes,
Okay,
that's
we are.
discussion.
That's what I was, because I had that discussion with Jerry Ruble, and he says, go down to his docket, where his is, and it's still there from 100 years ago, when they used to let it.
Our family raised after several years ago when we had to repair, and he raised his up and everybody else in his last ones, they lost and he did, and his was not affected. I think Keith
Keith has recommended that. We've had a local dock builder give us a quote for that. We're preparing for that and mindful of that too. And also a topic of discussion with Mr. Harris is, I think we need proper maintenance on our docks going forward. And, something we'll be working on, keeping them sealed, screws tightened up, and just going forward, being a little more mindful of maintenance.
That one at Sunrise Park is getting kind of wondered. I mean, when I went out on it, it's like.
The other thing that we haven't done is we don't seal our docks. I don't
That's
know
what
why
I-
we don't
that's
seal
why.
our docks, because we should, if you build that dock, you should keep sealer on it to keep them protected. There's a special dock sealer that you can put on those. So that's something, and I will say that Christina has been very hands-on out there in the community with what hasn't been taken care of and getting that taken care of.
Yeah.
And it shows, I mean, you can see it, you can see it, so, so anyway, I just wanted to make sure we had a report on that. Do you have anything else?
Only other thing I'd like to mention that, I was able to secure our Tree City USA designation. It came to my attention in an email a couple of months ago that we didn't apply for it. I've since made application, acquired all the relevant data, and we've been approved, so that designation will hold true. That was for 2024, so we're still good with that. But, still just continuing to work very closely with all staff, from utility billing to our finance. I'm probably driving everybody crazy, but, we're all, working good together. Morale seems to be pretty incredible and pretty good. And we'll continue on that momentum.
And there's in the revised agenda, there was some stuff from Jocelyn. Is that just, about Ross, is that informational? Or collections?
I asked Jocelyn for an update. I noticed that we haven't had anything from utility billing in the packets for quite some time.
Yeah.
And she was able to generate what she provided to us, and I just thought it would be good to have in your packet. And on that note, I also asked finance to give us some financial statements, so I could put something before you, since it's been quite some time since you actually had a document. But those financial reports are all very, it's not a clear picture. There are some things that are miscategorized that, there's a lot of typing up to do in that. We've had an employee outgoing in accounts payable, and we have a new employee who is really doing wonderful and experienced in that department. So there are things on those items that are miscategorized, but you'll have better reports going forward. So.
Thank you. Our new employees.
Our new employee's name is Nancy.
Nancy.
And Nancy's acting as our accounts payable / admin assistant.
She's very nice.
So she's gonna be supporting the clerk in half the time and working on accounts payable half the time. But right now, she's just getting thoroughly trained in accounts payable. She's just started dabbling into, she has experience with minutes and being a clerk. So she's spending some time with Mel now.
They have boxes and boxes and boxes of old records that need to be dealt with, that we're storing, from years and.
We should have a.
We have records and
Record disclosure.
Files back from
That's right. Yeah, it's time
2016.
for somebody to dispose of.
Right, okay. It's actually given to us by, there's somewhere in the State Department, the Department of State has a schedule. That we're supposed
It is, but you have to have
But you
somebody
have
to
to
follow
yeah, it's an
it.
ongoing.
So that hasn't been done
Because you
in
can't just
maybe,
go
what,
across
50
the-
years? A
We're
long
working on
time.
some house cleaning.
But yeah, they need to be started properly too.
Some house cleaning.
We're cleaning some file archiving. We're working closely with Ms. Sheila. She knows there's a need for it too. So we're trying to get the office a little more organized and pulling the reins in a little bit with our files and archiving accordingly. So internally, we have a lot going on.
And we did a request that when we do, because all of that has to be shredded, and so we have to have a shredding company come in, and when that shredding company comes in, we've asked that they open it up to the public. There'll have to be, of course, a fee for it, but for convenience, that she gives us ample notice so we can advertise that, so that the public can also come in and dispose of anything that they need shredded as well.
Thank you.
I got bags.
Incriminating documents or.
There's somebody at my house too that doesn't go through those records. And then Dave got some good news?
The gas company's grant has been approved, so they'll be able to start all of that work. 1.5 million he's been waiting for, so he's pretty happy about that.
Because I got one from the state. Historical society.
Okay, and so then we're gonna go to our city attorney. We have no other questions. City attorney, do you have anything?
I'm not.
Thomas is like, oh, I'm tired. I wanna go home. Okay, then let's move on to city commission, Commissioner Maury. First off, congratulations and thank you for doing your certification, I guess, for the, cyber training. And, you wanna give us an update on the Jason Taylor and Cookson group?
Oh, my lawsuit.
Yes.
It is currently, I had to put the email in the packet, it's currently in front of the first DCA, but we have no idea when it'll be, if they will even have oral arguments or if they'll make a decision. He said that he has several other cases that are before the DCA and they're just waiting.
Okay. That's at their discretion. Okay, Commissioner DeVito, you have the ICMA Council Orientation Program. For
Yes.
administration there.
I think I brought this up previously, and if we want, we can consider it. So, the ICMA, and actually, our interim city manager may be very interested in this. They have all kinds of online training, primarily for staff, all kinds of modules on different topics. This one, is for councils or commissions. It's 5 topics, 3 hours each. And it looks to me like a great course. I think it's very tightly designed. And it's introduction to council manager form of government, helpful advice for those who are new, roles and responsibilities in council manager form of government, understanding the budget and strategic plan, which we've talked about before, PR for council members. And we don't really need this one because we have our Florida specific one, ethics for council members, probably some good general advice. So the whole thing is 15 hours total. You can go at your own pace. I just thought it looked like a very, very good course, and Commissioner Lori and I have taken the Florida League of Cities training, both first and second. That was a 1 to 2 day commitment in person, involved hotel costs. This is just your time and the fee. So if we do this, and I assume they consider us to be ICMA members.
$895.
Pardon?
It's $895
That,
for everybody?
right, that all of us could do it for, if you get a license for the whole council, then the total cost is $900. So that would be divided a little less than $200 from each of our budgets. And alternatively, unfortunately, I printed the one that has the group license, I think a single license. I thought it was 3.
Yeah.
Right, the single license is less, I think it's more like $300, and you can go on the website. So, we could either vote to pay for this and have the option for all of us to take it at our own pace, or people could sign up by themselves and pay for the training budget. And you can go online and make yourself an account, and you can preview it. You can preview the course.
Yeah, I did it, I started to do it.
Right, so,
Have you already started it?
I did the preview.
He does.
Signed up for.
do you have,
It's really, I mean, it is interactive, it's interesting, it's not like just click, you know. I mean, the software training that I did is much better. Yeah, it's better. But it does have a lot of important, you know, just theory stuff that helps you kind of understand, you know, our roles and how we can, especially the budgeting part of it, really interesting. Sorry, I don't know where I'm saying.
anyway, and I am particularly interested in the budget and strategic plan because when I took the League of Cities courses, the instructor they had for my course on budgeting, I just didn't feel that what he presented was very pertinent to me as a commission member. And this looks much more nuts and bolts and useful. And that's one of our main jobs. So I highly recommend it to us, and I guess if we want to do
Think
it
maybe as
together.
we go into the budget season for next year, that's something that possibly we could put in there. Right now, I think, how much of your budget do you have left that you're all willing to spend, based on what you've got conferences coming up?
Right, we have the League of Cities conference coming up. Truthfully, I wish everyone would take this before we finish the budget for the next year. I think it would be very, very helpful. And I'm certainly willing to put in $200 or $300 of my budget money, but, you know, I think it's good if you want to go and look at the demo.
Okay, let everybody look at the demo and then we'll
Yeah.
bring it back and we'll bring it back for, discussion at the May meeting.
Right, and if you don't know how to do the demo, Commissioner Roy might be able to help you.
What that was interesting is when you told me,
Oh, I
I
couldn't
tried to
even-
sign on, I tried several times, and then I had to actually email them and get a hot ticket to fix it, because it was not, it was sending me an email saying, oh, we've gotten your information, and then I didn't hear anything back, and it took 3 times, and then I finally emailed them and said, hey, and they emailed me back. They're very nice about that.
Right, and there is a person who will contact you and who can help you, and I think they may have fixed a glitch,
Yeah. that's
because
what
you
I
and I had the same problem. And I thought it was just me.
No.
So, okay, so there's training available, looks like a good new set of programs.
Okay. we have anything else? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
Okay, we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. So moved. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. Commissioner DeVito, please make sure you sign that for the bank and make sure that Commissioner Moore signs that for the bank as well before we leave.